what works and what doesn't.
Yeah,
I mean, you could throw your face up there. I'll talk if you want, so we could get two.
mhm.
Johnny, well,
um,
I'm also coming from work, and my face is up there. Do you feel like it's too? What's your fear? I don't
Uh,
understand.
in case I say some crazy shit, you match the
Just
face.
don't, just don't say anything crazy.
Okay. I mean, I guess. Yeah. I mean that. I mean that's. We'll. What I want to do is we'll put your guys' face up there, and I'll just talk, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, do you have a whole setup there? Like, I mean, do you have like a setup to make it look professional, or are you just gonna be on your phone?
no, I'm probably like, because that's my issue right now. Is I'll probably just have to be off of my phone because my
Well,
apartment's pretty
that's
empty.
even what I'm
and
saying is that looks kind of ratchet as fuck for a clip. Like he has the
Right.
whole setup, which is more. It looks his setup looks very professional. I'm not gonna lie, and that's
Yeah.
if you just have like somebody off their phone, bro. I just picturing that in my head for a clip. I don't know if somebody's gonna take that serious.
No, that's fair. And I mean, like, I can hop on my laptop, but I don't have like a good setup as well off of my laptop. Like, it won't look professional because I just moved recently. My house is pretty bare bones and empty. We can start without it, and then I think one of the other things we can do is I don't know. Do you have like an Apple device?
An Apple device, yeah, like an iPhone.
Yeah. Like you can always do those Bitmojis where it's just like a talking head, but it's not actually your face. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, this just make me laugh.
Yeah. But I think it'll be fine for us to begin with. You know, like we don't have a setup. That way, it's not just like two like empty slots. Like we could just have two Bitmojis chatting, which then doesn't change our conversations, and it gives somebody else something to look at when the third person is talking.
As the person with their face up, be mindful of what you say because I'm not trying to have my reputation be tied to something that misrepresents me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I mean, like, I'm also going to be a little bit like, I mean, I don't crash out like John over here, but I'm applying for jobs, so I'm much more likely to put my face up once I land something versus when they're doing like a background check on me and checking my social media presence. You know?
So I just sent you literally a clip that popped up on my feed of he's literally talking to somebody on Discord, and that it did pretty well.
Oh, here I'm gonna pull it up.
I mean, that's just one of like 30 that I've seen in that format.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, The only thing that I think that'll make it a little difficult is that it's hard to build a following if like the two of us are constantly on, but you don't see our faces.
Mm.
But I mean, I think a Bitmoji might be fine for now, because then they still have like an image associated with me and you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of what I think. Once I actually have a gig and I'm not worried about them looking into my social media presence as much, I'm fine with throwing my face back up online. But until then, I might just do a Bitmoji. I wonder if you can even do that through Discord. Would you guys also be open to having third people like a third party hop on the call?
Yeah, I'd be open to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we start to have like a couple of followers and we know that they're not underage, you know, we're not trying to pull a Chris Tyson here, Mr. Beast, but if we can find some people who are above 18 and we have specific topics and they follow us, it might be fine. Like, if they follow us on Reddit or Discord, being like, "Yo, we're going live on X date. These are the things that we're going to talk about. Let us know if you're interested." Especially if there are other creators. I started messaging people on TikTok, and a lot of people are open to hopping on calls and discussing what we chat about. Like I gave them a rundown. I just basically like sales mode, had like a little thing that I wrote out, copied and pasted it, and sent it to a couple of different people. I was like, hey, we have a podcast to chat about these topics. Are you interested in chatting on the next time we go live? It should be this date. Oh, are you guys still there?
Yeah, I'm just trying to not die in this game I'm playing. Yeah, I mean that all sounds good to me. I think there's enough room on the feed for multiple cameras. I think we should get an editor. I think should have a structure in terms of like a moderator and person who introduces new topics. And yeah, I'm all on board for that. Let's make the channel. Where's John?
No, I just sent you guys this clip. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the one with
Like-
Aiden Ross talking to the dude on Kick.
No, I sent you guys another one. Just like this is like literally how clips are. Not as much of the page being taken up, but this is like when I see shit go really viral.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%.
Like this is the type of game that they put at the bottom. That's what I'm talking about. Because that when you're listening to what they're talking about, I mean, it's really almost only so much you can stare at somebody for before you start, like, especially if you don't know them. Like, we have to give them a reason to want to like watch us. So if you like this game right here, they want to see that fucking car go to the bottom, and they want to see if that shit's gonna crash and like flip over and shit. It's like basically like a dopamine boost that it gets when that car lands perfectly flat. It's like a dopamine boost, and then they want to keep watching because they want to keep seeing that shit lean flat. And by the time that they finish looking at it and they're done with the dopamine little spike, they've watched the whole video, which is good for our algorithm. That's kind of what I'm talking about, like the games and shit at the bottom. I know it sounds stupid, but it literally is like the culture on TikTok.
Yeah, I 100% agree, because the amount of times that I watch a video that I'm like not concerned about that much, but I'm like just looking at the gameplay, like you'll see Minecraft often, or you'll see Subway Surfer, and they're just telling stories, and they'll have like 400,000 likes.
I'm telling you, man, you use the same clip in every single one, like the same car clip. I think it's literally just like GTA. It's like a GTA clip, honestly, and you probably could just video record somebody's like gameplay, like a little 10-second clip, and I don't think they would ever even know.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm looking at this whole channel right now. They literally post pretty much every single day, and they have 511 followers, but they just started. They just started last month, like literally 1 month ago. And they already have 500 followers.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
And see exactly what I said. They had one video that got 27,000 views, and now from that they have 500 followers. That's all it takes is one video.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I don't know. I mean, I know you guys want to like have it be like a group chat. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sure people like watch. You know what I mean? Because we talk about some shit that I don't know if somebody would sit there and just. I know like we're not like talking like only about like bro shit. We're talking about like actual serious stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I think me and you were talking about this when George got banned that one day. But I think the right way to approach the growth would be if we had like one main channel that we just put regular clips on that that doesn't have like the gameplay below it, and then we make like maybe like another 4 where we throw like other clips on, and it doesn't matter if it's the exact same clip as the one that's on our actual page, but if we have 4 like clips per account, and they all lead back to our channel, I think that's a good way to also grow them and experiment with things. I don't know if you know that channel, the Your Basement podcast. It's that white guy and the really dumb black dude, the light-skinned black guy, where they just get into arguments because the light skinned black dude, he just doesn't know things, and the white guy's just explaining it to me. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. So they have all these other people who are clipping for them, and I mean maybe they're not paying them, right? I know that there's like a market for people who are just clippers, but they have all these clipper accounts that like expose their face online, and then whenever you do roll up on a real video of theirs, you're much more likely to stay because you've seen all these other accounts clip for them, quote unquote, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm looking at it right now. Basement Yard Podcast.
Yeah. And I mean, like, honestly, that whole podcast is just the black dude just says the dumbest thing, and then the white guy's like, I can't believe you believe that, and then he'll like explain it to them, or and I mean, like, and to be fair, the black guy is funny sometimes, but not in a smart way. He's a funny dude just naturally, but he also has dumb takes, and their whole account blows up. Like, they don't have any guests, they don't have any structured conversations, they don't even talk about stuff that's deep, and there's hundreds of accounts.
It's usually easier to get big doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't have to like we like having topics to talk about that are thought provoking. But then we also just say some dumb stuff that's kind of funny. You know, like Abdul gets a rock, like that's hilarious. Like if you're able to clip that and then have like 4 dummy accounts that are regurgitating that same video, the next time somebody scrolls on that, they see our faces, and it's split with the Subway Surfer and then the actual clip at the top, and then they see the actual account, they're more likely to follow because they've seen other accounts reposting their content.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I mean, most of the clips that I see from podcasts are kind of like that. They're all like these clipper accounts that are doing stuff, and then the main account blows up because of those clippers. Which is why I feel like most of them don't get copyright strikes, because it helps them grow.
Yeah, I mean, there are like a bunch of accounts too that like has that as like services. They're like, oh, like you give us this and we'll post your video on our accounts and blah blah. And then there are also accounts that just do it to get their own pages big.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think we should focus on that. Like we don't have to pay people who have larger accounts to repost our stuff, but if we can kind of mimic that ourselves by having a couple of dummy accounts and posting clips there, the way that John was talking about with the gameplay below it, then like we're effectively doing the exact same thing that these other places do, just at a smaller scale, and yeah.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Dropping a pin. Northwest, 100 meters.
Cool. Yeah, whenever, I mean, I know you guys said we'll just do it whenever we're free. I think if we start to get some following, we should try to figure out a schedule so that we're consistent.
For sure.
And then it also just makes it easier to talk about like having like designated subjects. Like if we know that we're gonna meet on any given day, like usually if I know that we're gonna hop on in the evening, I'll watch something online that we can talk about, and try to like get some facts behind it. Like I know one of the things I want to talk about next is I don't know if you guys know what's going on in Bangladesh, where the president got basically ran out of the country, and knowing like, oh cool, like we're gonna meet on this Wednesday, I can come up with some questions, look into the actual facts so we don't all sound like idiots, and yeah, have good current event things to talk about. And they don't all have to be like news related. Like it could just be like social things or even just pop culture.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Did you guys already find somebody that could do the editing, or you guys just looked at some prices and haven't actually reached out to anybody?
We haven't reached out to anyone. We just looked at some like profiles, pretty much.
Okay. Dude, honestly, $3 an hour is ridiculously cheap.
No, there's some people who are pretty experienced in there. Like one person just said they've been editing for 2-3 years. The other person was like They had a bachelor's degree in editing. So I mean, like they said, one of them said they're like social media savvy, like they're expert at Adobe Premiere, CapCut, like all the things we basically are looking for. You know, they're an expert at it. So, and they're usually, you know, they don't lie about that stuff. Like the stuff that the designer sent me was pretty insane. But I told them like, hey, make something similar to this, but I want you to change this about it. And they literally came back and they made their own like like they literally did full graphic design. Like let's say you have a picture of a sunset, they'll come back and they'll completely make their own sunset out of nowhere. Like they'll go into Adobe Photoshop and build it from scratch, which is pretty impressive actually. Like they got like some crazy skills.
Yeah, it just sucks that you went to university for this and getting paid like so little compared to other people in the States.
Well, then you got to remember that stuff is a lot cheaper there. So
Yeah,
like them making, I mean, I could even like do the comparison of like the Filipino. I forgot what the currency is in Philippines, but I mean, like that's like them making like $20-$30 an hour. So comparatively, if we paid them like $10 to $20 an hour, we're actually overpaying them because then it's like they're making like fucking $60 an hour. Like, you know what I mean? They're making insane money based on how much shit costs because everything's cheaper over there.
yeah.
Oh, it's the Filipino peso. So one Filipino peso costs 1.7 cents. And let's see, yeah. So let's see.
It's a penny for a dollar, or for a peso in the Philippines.
No, one Filipino peso is 1.7 US cents. So it's a
That's so
penny.
cheap.
It's like a penny and a half. So let me see how much does it cost for a, I don't know, what, carton of milk?
Yeah, go for it.
Where's the SSD?
Yeah, it's insane. So it costs for 1 liter carton of fresh milk costs 90 Filipino pesos. So that means
That's like less than a dollar.
we do the
Well, I mean,
comparison.
I guess it'll be a little over a dollar because it's 1.7, but not by a lot.
So a carton of milk over there, if we're converting it to USD, a carton of milk over there costs $1.55.
Damn, bro, I might have to move to the Philippines. That shit sounds affordable as fuck.
I'm telling you. So we're really not taking advantage. We're just like, we're just like so overpriced over here that when you go to other countries, you know what I mean. We're taking advantage of.
We're
how
in a
cheap
better
it is.
economy, like relatively, right? So that's just the nature that's just the reality of the situation. Doesn't
Sure.
like us, like it just. That's just what it is. This is what it is. It's fine. But yeah, we should get on some sites. Y'all have a computer next to y'all? Can y'all get online to start looking at potential candidates?
All right, you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can share your screen on Discord if you're on a computer on Discord.
Damn, bro. Yo, the average brand new car, like a Toyota or a Honda, it costs 70,000 Filipino pesos. Guess how much that costs in USD?
What, maybe like 10K?
1,200 bucks
1,200?
for a brand new Toyota. Yeah, it's Toyota Vios, popular model, like a Toyota Vios or Honda City.
What the? Dude, it's cheaper to actually buy the car in the Philippines and then ship it over.
Hold on, let me see how much the Toyota Vios is going for here.
No, I think we might have just found a better business model. Why are we doing this when we can just be buying cars in the Philippines, shipping it back?
Yo, dead ass. Damn, that's actually a pretty nice car. That's like a car that would cost like 40K here.
Dog.
Look up Toyota Vios. It's like a, it looks kind of like a Prius a little bit, like a bigger Prius.
Pull it up real quick. Oh, it looks better than a Prius.
Facts. That's what I'm saying, bro.
So
Damn.
you're talking about brand new, like off the lot?
I just asked AI. It said it pulled it up from 4 different sites. It said on average you can expect to pay around 700,000 pesos. Let me wait. I might have typed in 70K. Did I type in 70K? I did type in 70K. 12,000. My bad. But that's still even that's cheaper though. That's still
Ooh,
cheap.
That's crazy.
12,000
Yeah,
bucks for a brand new 2024 Toyota Vios.
Yeah, 12,000. Even if it costs you 5K to ship it over, and you sell it for like 25, you're still making a ridiculous profit.
There's something there. I don't know. We gotta go pick this fucking Filipino's brain. Like
Yeah, hold
stop
up. I think we might have found a
saying
new. Yeah,
fucking
you gotta watch the
Filipino's
order.
brain.
Yeah, the
Fucking
order.
Filipino.
That's honestly a goat.
Joke.
Yeah, Bill Burr joke.
Yeah.
Fucking Filipino. Pick their fucking brain. Alright, so yo, what I'm gonna do, let me see if I can share my screen. I don't even know how to do that. Oh, yeah, I found it. Start broadcast. Alright, can you guys see?
No. Oh wait, 1 second. I don't see anything. It says, oh yeah, I can see your lock screen.
You can see all my shit?
Yeah. Yeah, bro, you got
Alright.
36 unread messages.
Yeah, bro, I don't be looking at that shit like that. Alright, so basically, I'll sign out of this. And you want to make an email or some shit? Do you have an email made?
Not for our account, but we can make one.
Slice said that make sure you link it to your personal email.
No, I didn't say. I said the opposite of that.
That'll probably be the best way to do it.
Literally said the opposite. Fucking troll, John. Anyway,
why don't you just look at it with your email right now, and then we can create a 3 idiots.
Yo, are you looking at it too, George?
Looking at what, the page?
Yeah.
No, I'm on Helldivers.
I just want to make sure if my like phone is being streamed to TikTok or not.
No, it's not.
All right. Okay. So what I could probably do is if I go to
John's about to go on the dark web.
I'll make a new account, right? So I just got one of my emails got banned the other day. I was like, what the fuck? How do you even get banned on an email? I don't know. I started an account for I think it was like Amazon or some shit. And then I got like the code, and all of a sudden I put the code in and it says like suspicious activity. Your account is now banned. I'm just
Where's
like,
the
what the fuck?
communication relay?
I don't even understand it. Alright, so we're gonna alright, my name is Abdul.
Abdul
My gender?
@rocks.com.
My gender is rather not say. Let's see. Alright,
I'm applying to jobs again, and they ask you about your gender and sexual orientation. It's so crazy.
okay.
Like, why do you need to know whether or not I like eating pussy or sucking dick? What does that change between me and my role?
Right? Alright, so basically, what are we called? 3 idiots
Yeah.
and a mic.
Yep.
Somebody actually took that. That's actually crazy. It looks like
Somewhere.
three. It looks like three idiot Sandamic. Sandamic. Kind of look retarded. Not gonna lie, but we could do three idiots
Plus Mike.
plus.
Or you could just use the actual sign, because if it's...
And then at some point we could add somebody named Mike. That would be pretty funny. And it'd be like three idiots and then Mike.
yeah,
Yeah, that's taken too. That's crazy.
wow.
I know it's not taken.
I'm doing the rock.
Tagging map. West.
The email can be that, sure, that's fine. That would be like our inside joke. The email
It's
can be
actually
that.
taken too. I'm not gonna lie.
No way, Abdul on the rocks.
No, it actually isn't taken.
No,
It
it's not.
isn't.
It's not. It's not.
Abdul. All right, so for everybody out there, our password is gonna be. So we all know our email. So all right, so our password, you can text it, but I'll make it this, right? Nah, wait. 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 It has to be an inside joke between all of us. I feel like that's the easiest
Oh.
to remember.
I think you know what it is. You're pretty close to it. We say it all the time. I mean, that's a wild way of writing it. We don't say that.
Wait.
What do you write? What do you...
No.
Yeah, that's
No.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I wanted you to write. I was waiting for you to do that. My man really brought up the whole thing.
That's pretty tough, right?
Yeah, that works.
Or I could just put in a suggested password and confuse the shit out of you guys. It's like VIJJ. All right, whatever. Let's do that one. Okay.
This guy ran into the minefield. That's so tough.
Yo, this feature where you get a code and you can just auto paste it in might be one of the best features that Apple's ever added.
Oh, dude, yeah. Actually,
Oh,
one
nice.
that I love a lot is copying off of one device and being able to paste it off of a different one, as long as you're
Yeah.
signed into the same Apple device.
Yes, yep. That was one of the. I mean, I can't believe that they haven't really added anything new recently. So I hope
Bro,
this
now-
bro, with the new phone coming out, there's gonna be so much new like AI stuff. I'm actually gonna upgrade to that phone. I haven't upgraded since like the 12 XL or something.
Yeah,
Fuck,
dude, I mean,
I just got the 15, so I'm like screwed for about 4 years.
I
Every
also
like
recently
4 or
got-
5 years I upgrade.
but I mean, a lot of the features are going to be possible with the 15 model because they're going to share a similar chip. And then iOS 18 is what has all the
What is this?
AI features.
All right, so I don't have an account. I'm an employer. Yo, you mind doing me a favor real quick?
What's up?
Do you mind going to uspto.com while I'm doing this?
USPTO? Yeah.
Yeah. Type in uspto.com. I just want to make sure that what we're doing right now doesn't already have a trademark.
What do you want me to look up our name? 3 Idiots and a Mic?
Yep. And also do it with a 3 and do it with a THRE.
100 meters. Deploying minefield. Stand clear.
All right, so we're in. We're in. We got an account. All right, so what we're gonna do.
You may proceed to extraction when ready.
No, there's just a movie that's called Three Idiots.
All right, cool.
At least from what I'm seeing here.
All right, so what we're gonna do is create a new job. All right, so what are we looking for? What type of employment? We're looking for. If you guys disagree, just like speak up. Part time.
Yep.
Select skills.
Video editing.
Short form content.
Oh, you can get that. You can get that.
Yeah, they know. They're like these people are
Granular.
experts. Like, oh, maybe we could do. Maybe when we type in the chat, we'll do that. Okay, so social media video editing.
Yeah.
So let me quickly. Fucking retarded. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, select. Oh, dummies. All right. So. Oh shit. Okay, so we have editing. Let's just do editing. Social media,
I was having too
Editing.
much fun stomping it out.
video editing.
Oh, I just pulled it up. It looks like there is somewhere that's Three Idiots in with a microphone.
Oh shit. Yeah. Now it's gonna be tough because they can start copywriting our shit. Because when you do something online, you get something called IP, which is intellectual
Oh,
property.
dude, I think we might be good. I just pulled them up. They only uploaded one episode, and it was in October 3rd of 2020.
Yeah, we're good. They were just bored. They were bored when
Yeah.
everybody was locked down. Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
them. All right. As long as they don't have a trademark, and we're like a copyright on their brand.
Yeah, through that website, I did the search and I didn't see anything. But then I decided to Google it, and there's only one podcast, and they only uploaded one episode in 2020.
Yep. Okay. All right. So.
Yeah, I doubt they went through the process to actually trademark anything.
So I mean, we could even put like video marketing. Nah, that's not. We're not really video marketing. Basically, just editing. That's all we need, really.
That's all
It's
we
not
need.
complicated. It's
Nope.
not complicated.
We just
So
need
we're-
video editing. Like, really,
I will-
we're not asking them to do anything too hard. If they, like, I taught myself how to do this stuff in like a month. It's not that hard. I just don't
Looking
have the time.
for a short form clips editor.
Yeah.
Let's make it look professional. Looking for an editor to edit.
Looking for an editor who's experienced in short form content.
An editor with
Experienced in short form content.
at least 1 to 2 years. Oh, it's fucking serious. Huh? 1 to 2 short form or social media video editing experience. Period. New line. New page. Okay, well this is shit fucking tough. Alright, so must be able to speak English / understand speak / understand English.
And American culture, I would also say.
Be familiar with aspects of American culture, or be familiar with like American social media trends. American social
Somewhat.
media trends.
Somewhat familiar with American TikTok /
Shit, some data, I
social media culture.
Allied destroyer has left the squadron.
Experience or expert level with CapCut. Must have previous experience with creating captions.
I feel like we can handle some of the upload as long as we have the content.
Yeah.
Must be able to use Google Drive or Dropbox.
Samples collected. That's a good mission in my book.
Looking to start to eventually scale. No, he said, my mentor before said not to do that. He said, okay, so looking for 20 hours plus
Take care.
hours a week. Period. Please message for more info. Anything else you guys think we should add?
No, I mean, that sounds pretty good.
So we have so far looking for an editor with at least 1 to 2 years of short form or social media video editing experience, must be able to speak English or speak/understand English, somewhat familiar with American TikTok and social media culture, experienced or expert level with CapCut, must have previous experience with creating captions. And when I say captions, I don't mean like the captions under the video. I mean captions like in the video, like the ones when you talk.
Yeah.
Every
But,
time
I
you
mean,
talk, the video should pop up on the screen in big letters. Like when I'm saying
Yeah.
letters,
I think there's an AI tool that can do that for us.
it's in
Where you upload
CapCut,
it.
but it fucking sucks. It's terrible.
Okay. Well, no, I've heard of a third-party one that's not on CapCut.
Oh,
There are like
CapCut is the
many
one
tools. There are tons of tools. Anyone who can edit the video should be able to take care of those captions.
Okay, and then it must be able to use Google Drive or Dropbox. Looking for 20 plus hours a week. Please message for more info. Wage per salary per month. So let's say our max is about, what do you think, like $5 an hour?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not interested. I don't think putting the max that we're interested in is the best idea, because we're going to attract people who are willing to just apply for the max. If you saw posts that were like $3 or $4 per hour, I think we should start with that. If they're really good, that gives us like a wiggle room to pay them up. But if we start with the number 5, then if they do a good job, we're looking at paying 6 or 7 an hour. You know.
I hear you. The only problem with that is that some people who won't go that low, they might not even reach out.
That's fair.
That's what I'm wondering is that, let's say somebody where their minimum is like $5 and we put $3.
Yeah.
They might be like, yo, fuck this. You know, I'm not gonna reach out. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some water
Yeah,
real quick.
actually, all right, then maybe let's start with maybe we can start with 5.
I feel comfortable paying. I feel comfortable paying $5 an hour.
Yeah.
The thing we're gonna adjust is the how many hours. So that's where we're gonna save our money. So we'll start. We'll say
Okay.
that we want 20. Actually, let's say we want 30, and then we could tell them like, hey, we're gonna do 20 for a little bit, so we'll get more applicants. You know what I mean? Because some people might be like, I can only work 20, but you want to make sure that the person who you go to knows up front how many hours we're looking for. So then,
That's fine by me.
so we'll do 5. We'll do times 20. Let's do 5 times 30. So that's $150 per month. fuck. That's not even like a professional email at all.
Divers to hell pods. Repeat. Hell divers to hell pods.
Oh, the email that we used?
Yeah, this looks really bad. Whatever, fuck it, whatever. So if you want to log into the email too, so we'll all get the notification, you can. I'll send you guys the what's it called?
Yeah, the password.
Yeah. So it's fuck, what was it?
Pod launch suspended. Allied destroyer has launched squadron. Hell pod prime. Pod launch suspended.
Okay, perfect. Got it.
And then it's the email that we were talking about.
Destroyer.
So we'll say that I'm the contact person. All right. So now our job's posted. Oh, wait, this might be. That looks crazy. Oh my god.
But I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it is what it is. They know
Whose
what they're
phone
doing.
number you want to
Applying
put
for.
down?
Maybe
Put
we
your
should
phone number.
Well, I don't have the best service because I'm in a different country. Maybe we can also just create a Google number and then all three of us have access to it.
Yeah, we could do that. I'm down for that. So yeah, I mean, so we posted our job. I mean, to actually hire somebody, I think you have to pay.
That would make sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have to pay this for the service of the site.
So what's gonna happen is people are going to
Has joined squadron.
they're gonna come forward, but all their information is gonna be private, and then the website is gonna be like, all right, to be able to contact these people who applied, you have to pay like $30 a month. So what the mentor said is that you buy it for 1 month and you cancel. And that's what I did when I hired my designer. I got a whole bunch of applicants who came forward, and then I like found the one I wanted. And then I just canceled my membership,
Yeah.
and I paid like $30 for
Yeah, that makes sense.
that month.
Like we should consider the interview like process like a month long and be interviewing people that month and get the best person and then cancel.
Yeah.
Because that's how the website makes their money, because they're putting us on to like all these people, so they're acting like as somewhat of a middleman.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. But what was I gonna say? How much?
Well, your searches are hilarious. How old is Biden? How much?
That wasn't
how many
even my
gallons-
search, though.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, is it actually?
I think so, right? If it has the,
'Cause I never looked up how tall is Simone Biles. Damn, she's 4'8".
Yeah, but that doesn't have the
no.
magnifying glass.
Oh no, I
to it.
actually did look up how old is Biden. That's funny. That's actually so funny. But I never. What the fuck? How tall is Simone Biles? She's really short.
It's tiny. Yeah. Most gymnasts are really, really small.
I didn't. But she's legally a midget.
I guess so. A very successful one.
How much does?
John's like, we should still hate her.
Nah, we don't even hate her. She says some weird shit sometimes, but she's cool.
We don't
Wait,
hate
what
anyone.
weird
We don't
thing?
hate you,
What-
alright?
She like, I don't know. She like makes it her job. All right, I lied. It's $69.
She makes it her job to do what, John?
No, she just like she should stick to running, and she just is very political as a runner. Like,
She's
I don't
not a
know, I think-
runner.
I
What the
think-
fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, she's a gymnast.
Yeah, John.
Oh,
fucking
wait.
don't
thinking of Sha'Carri
don't tell her to shut up and dribble, you fucking weirdo. What the fuck?
I'm talking about Sha'Carri Richardson.
She's a crazy good athlete.
I just
She
think
also-
it's weird.
she
I think it's
also has
weird
a
when you
voice.
get really political. I just don't understand. Like,
Why is it weird? They're like citizens. They can have a political
you're supposed
opinion.
to be entertainment. That's your job. You know
They're
what I mean?
supposed to be
if
entertaining their people.
if
The
you
fuck?
if you went around like saying a bunch of shit at your job, I mean, you're worried about your boss watching. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah, but she doesn't have a boss. She like runs. That's.
I
she
consider
can have
that
an
a job.
opinion. Yeah, well, have you ever worked that job?
Yes.
yeah.
I was a janitor for 3 years. I cleaned up people's shit. Whenever some guy ate too much protein before the gym, some fucking cracked out steroid guy, and he was on like 300 grams of protein a day, and he shit himself, and when it was all over the floor, that was me picking it up.
Well, you were.
Oh, dude, I never did that. So where I lived in Boston, there was a lot of homeless people that used to live there. I was the opening staff for the gym I worked at, and one day, some homeless guy ran into the hallway, pulled his pants down, had explosive diarrhea on the wall, and then ran out. And this happened in this like in a span of 5 minutes of me getting there. I opened up the gym. One of the coaches was already there, so he got there before me. And then 5 minutes after me, the first customer got there, and they're like, "Yo, who shot on the wall?" And we looked at the security cameras. Just some homeless guy ran in, boom, explosive diarrhea on the wall, and then ran out. And I got lucky. One of the other coaches, he was a former CO. He's a correctional officer. So I was like, "Yo, coach, I'm not doing that." And he's like, "Don't even worry about it, Dur. I've dealt with this before as a CO. I got this." Reminds me of my old days.
Yeah.
I was like, "Thank God."
Yeah, bro. Nah, jobs are. Yeah, I'm all set with that shit. I worked like 3 or 4 jobs before I went like self-employed, and I was like, "Yo, that shit is whack. That shit's crazy."
Yeah, dude, having the ability for somebody to, I mean, I'm speaking from experience now. It's the first time I've ever been laid off, but I hate that feeling. It's like you gotta kiss people's asses in order to have like good business standing with them. I've worked in tech for the last like almost like 6-7 years, and one thing that really annoyed me was I had one manager tell me, like, think of your brand here. I was like, "Yo, bro, I'm not a brand. Like, I'm an individual when I pull up to work. I'm not thinking about like my brand here at this company." It was so cringy.
Yeah, I know. That was kind of going back to the thing I was talking about like people who play sports and shit like that. I don't know. Okay, the other day, that I don't know if it was Simone. I think it was Sha'Carri Richardson. She posted something. She's like, "I love doing my black job," and that was a dig at what Trump said. But on the other end of it, I would think it's weird if somebody like started coming at like what Kamala was saying. Like somebody said like, "I'm gonna go hang out in my coconut trees," like she was making fun of her. I just think that's weird across the board because they kind of do have a brand in their own sense.
Yeah, that was a
Wait,
little
John, I have
different.
no idea.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't understand what you just said.
So basically, Trump was like talking about how illegal immigrants are taking black and Mexican jobs, and people kind of looked at him crazy for that. And so what happened was, I guess she felt some type of way. So she was like, she posted something on Instagram. I'll go look at it. And she's like, "Yeah, look at me doing my black job," like a dig, at what he said. And I was saying, I think it would be weird if somebody did a dig at like Kamala too. I think if like somebody was like, "I'm gonna go sit in my coconut tree," I'm going to my coconut tree now, like making fun of what she said because that was one of her quotes that she said.
Yeah,
Like
she's
I think
Caribbean,
like
right?
random digs like that are political. Don't really want to hear it.
I mean,
Why? But I
freedom
mean,
of speech, dog. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's free to do it.
Do you have that same opinion about like LeBron James saying stuff about Black Lives Matter?
At the time, I was like pretty chill about it, but then I realized that whole thing is kind of a scam. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, you can talk about the people who scam the movement, but like the message behind it, At the time, no one knew about that.
Behind it was cool. I mean, like, it's kind of weird that it just kind of died out and nobody talks about it anymore, but everybody was posting about it. That's kind of weird to me.
yeah, it's because the media doesn't cover it as much, and
Like
people
fake.
only
It's
talk
like it was
about.
all like fake. It was all
It
fake.
was
and
not
it was
fake
all
at
for
all.
election.
It was not fake
No,
at all.
I think that the timing of it was very convenient for an election to happen. I don't know.
I
And
mean,
then all of a sudden, election happens.
elections
and we don't
happen
hear about it anymore.
like all the time. Like, what do you?
I just think it's convenient that that's the year happened is an election year. I don't know. It's weird to me. Even though there's still shootings, there's still police brutality.
Right. and
Why-
people
why-
they're,
why
they're
are
like
people
they're
still not
there's
going
still
to
there's
protest?
still people like talking about that. There are protests happening. They just don't. One, their numbers are certainly a lot smaller, but they are they're just not being covered, bro. Like even like the protests
Why
on
not?
the campuses, because the news doesn't want to cover it,
Why not?
so people won't talk about it.
Why?
Because it's inconvenient for the political establishment.
Not on the Democrat side.
It's inconvenient for all of them.
In what way?
The people who have those issues point to them as the reason that these issues persist. That's why it's inconvenient.
So when they go online and they say, "This is how I'm gonna fix things," isn't that kind of them fighting with the issue?
When who goes online?
When Kamala goes to a rally and she's like, "This is what I'm gonna do for the black population," isn't that her fighting the issue? I don't see why anybody would have a problem with that.
It's not that simple. Like she supports a ton of policies across the board, and saying something is one thing. The policies that you implement and how it affects people's lives is another. Like Biden said, for the entire duration of the war, or the conflict, whatever you want to call it, in Gaza, like I am like, what was that canned remark he kept making? Something about greatly concerned about the civilian casualties, and he just kept saying that and sending more bombs. So like, yeah, you can fucking go up and talk, like doesn't mean anything. So people are gonna protest, and people are still protesting. And I think if no matter what your job is, especially if it's one that's more public facing, like you retain every right to express your political opinion, unless the job says that you don't in your official capacity of working there, and you sign a contract saying you're going to do that. Anything outside from that, like, people should say what they want to say. I, for one, think that's a good thing.
So building off of what you just said, I agree with you. I don't agree with not John. I think athletes should be able to express their opinion, like, but
They should. They could do whatever they want. I just think it's weird.
wait, why is it weird if
Because the only reason you're famous is for running or playing basketball. So now that you have a platform, now you're like, all right, let me be a fucking voice for everybody. The only reason why you're famous is for sports, bro.
Yeah, but
Like
so
if
what?
it wasn't for sport, if it wasn't
but
for
some people-
sport,
some
you
people-
wouldn't have a voice.
Yeah, but
Okay.
some people look up to them, right? Like, people look up to LeBron James, not just because of the sport, right? Like, he built a platform, and if he chooses to use that platform for that, like, it's like, all right, man, like, go do that. Like,
No, but
But-
it's not
but-
even. You know what? And it's not even really that. It's when you tear down somebody. Like when you're talking negatively about, like when you're throwing digs, like what that Shikari or Richardson chick did, like that. That's kind of weird. Like that you feel like you need to be like petty like that. And I would think it would be
It's
in,
like-
in both directions.
It's
it
a
would be
criticism of his rhetoric. It's a criticism of his rhetoric. It's not like Trump isn't some like vulnerable person that needs to be protected from digs. He's one of the most powerful people in the fucking world. Like,
Maybe
and
I'm just
she's
all about, like,
criticizing
not
his
being
rhetoric.
political on like on your fucking Instagram. I don't know. That's
That's
just
like
how
my
I
whole
roll.
like brand. That's like my whole shtick is being political on my Instagram.
Well, that's you. I mean, like that's why, like that's what I think, you know. But I'm not thinking everybody should think the way I think. I'm just thinking that's kind of how I view it.
yeah, I mean, the way I mean, you can, if you think it's cringe, it is what it is. But I don't think it's any different than a person who has 100 followers making a post about something. They just happen to have 1 million, and there's a lot of athletes who just stay out of the limelight, right? Like, who just don't want to talk about political things. There's a lot of basketball players
That's
who are
nice.
black
I like that.
who didn't. You're like, I just like when I see you dribble.
I like that. And no, even like Tom Brady, stay out of it. Like throw fucking football. Like I don't want to hear your fucking political opinion.
But he's
Yeah,
a
but I mean,
citizen.
Yeah, okay.
He is a
Like
citizen.
that's the whole point
What
of
should
a
I
democracy
say?
is that everyone
What should I
shares
say?
their
Don't-
political opinion.
Just because I say don't want to hear it doesn't mean he doesn't have every right to do it.
I'm
He
just
has a right
saying
to do
that's
whatever the
like
hell he wants.
like that
I'm
like
not,
spirit.
I'm not going to go on and try to cancel him for it.
That
So I'm
sentiment
pretty
is
consistent across the board.
anti-democratic.
What happened?
I said that sentiment is anti-democratic. We should
No, but he has
encourage
every
all
he has
this
every right to do it,
shit.
and I won't try to cancel him for it. That's what I don't like is when you say some shit and you get canceled for it. I'm just gonna sit here and think it's weird, but I'm like he has every right to do it, and he should, if he wants to, go ahead. But I'm not. I'm gonna think it's weird. Like I'm not gonna speak out about it and be like, "Yo, we need to stop him," but it is what it is.
Indeed.
So it's only weird because you know them in this one aspect, but when you get to know their personality, that's what you find to be weird. Like you just want to know your athletes as the athlete and not their opinions on things.
Yeah, because most of the time that their brand is so fake and phony, like there's a lot of athletes that they just don't really, you don't really hear their true opinions on shit because they have a brand to protect. But when it comes to politics, they feel like they can go speak up. Like you don't hear locker room talk from all these athletes, bro. You really don't.
Right, but also like people are very multifaceted, right? Like you can hold a political opinion, but be one of the goons when you're in the locker room with your teammates. Like those two things are different. They're not.
Let me hear all your opinions. Let me think. Like if you're an athlete, let me hear about like how you treat your wife if you cheat on her or not. Like let me hear all that shit. Cause I guarantee most of them are cheating on their fucking wives, bro. Or they have side chicks, or
yeah, but that's not the same.
Like in Drake's case, I don't know if it's true or not, but Kendrick said he like has like a fucking prostitute problem. If that's true, I don't know if it's not. I'm not gonna say it's true or not, but like that's an example, right? Let's say that it is true, and then Drake's going online talking about like, yo, we have to do this shit. Yo, worry about your own life, or expose your real life. Right? Expose what you really think. Don't be like super secretive in one aspect and then expose everything in the other aspect. I want you to be
but why?
consistent across the board.
No, that's not
Because it's not genuine. It's like they feel like in one aspect they should just like fucking virtue signal and let me just show all my fans how good of a person I am.
Yeah, but that's
Corny.
like you don't show the whole world every aspect of you. Like
yeah, I'm not like a fucking athlete either. I'm just a guy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is people are multifaceted. Like the way that I talk to my mom isn't the same way that I talk to the homies. So the way that I address the world isn't going to be the same way that I address my homies. Me and you guys can talk about fuck shit all day, but if I'm in a meeting with my boss, I'm not going to talk like that. If I'm being interviewed by CNN, I'm not going to talk like that. Like people have different aspects of their lives, and not everything has to be public. Like who you hook up with has nothing to do with what the way the world should see you, unless you're doing illegal stuff and like pulling a Chris Tyson or a Cody Co. Like then you can be judged on that. But if you're just living your life with consenting adults,
damn, the game crashed. That's crazy.
And you just
you should be able to do whatever you want, but it's corny.
Yeah, but I feel like your argument of I have to see everything about you in order for you to be able to
have an opinion is a wild stance.
Well, usually the few things that are like, I don't want to say like taboo, but they're very like, you keep it mostly to yourself, are politics and religion, and then your financial situation, like how much money you make. Those are like the three things that people usually keep pretty private. So that's like, if you want to go expose shit about yourself, let me see everything. Let me see like, yo, LeBron, let me see how many, let me see all the side chicks you got, bro. Let me see. I know there's like.
Let me ask you this: do you feel that Sketch needed to tell everybody that what he was doing before he became Sketch?
I feel like that position is unreasonable, John.
All right, that's different.
He literally said in the podcast that he has no special needs, but that's his whole thing.
Yeah, but no, that's you assuming that, because he doesn't build himself off of being like, hey guys, I have an extra chromosome or I'm autistic. He doesn't say that on any of his streams. People saw the way that he looked and made that assumption themselves.
So then why are there like multiple clips of him acting like completely normal when he's not, like when he doesn't know he's being filmed?
I mean,
Like the tick goes away. He's not like talking in that fucking Rick and Morty Trump voice. Like he's not doing all that extra shit. It's a character, bro. It's a character, and it works. It works. People want to see like a special needs kid do well. You know, that's his angle.
yeah, but I don't think he's building off of that. If he built a character the way that most people build a character, then like that's up to the individual person that made that assumption. Like if that was his character that he wanted to build in mind, but never explicitly said that he was special needs, then that's the problem for the public to making that assumption. Because there's never been a stream where he said that. He went on that guy. What's that guy's name? He's really annoying. The really big dude, the Jack guy, Brian or whatnot. He always says he could beat up MMA fighters or boxers because he's 260. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Bradley Martin.
Bradley Martin, yeah. So he went on Bradley Martin's podcast and was like, "Yo, I'm not," because he asked him that, and he's like, "Oh, what about your like?" He's like, "Yo, when I'm nervous or I'm on camera, those tics just come out naturally. It's just he does weird things with his hands. Like it's just a thing that he does naturally, not something that he tried to do to convince people that he's one way or another."
Yeah, maybe if you take that the public just kind of ran with that he has special needs.
Yeah,
But I mean,
let's pivot back to what I was saying earlier, though. That like, do you think that because he became famous after he was doing his OF stuff, that he owes it to the public to tell them that before he gets to share his opinions on anything else?
that he owes it to the public to like tell him that he did like gay porn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is. I mean, I always thought he wasn't really ever really funny to me. So I mean, I always thought he was a little corny, but that kind of goes back. Like I don't know, he came off as corny to me a little bit.
Yeah, but that's not what I asked. I was asking, like, do you think that he owed people that information before?
No, and I'm not saying that these people. I'm not saying that these people owe me anything. They should be able to do what they want. Like any like athlete, like a Tom Brady, like a LeBron James, like a Phil Mickelson. They should be able to do what they want. What I'm saying is that I'm gonna think it's corny if you just pick like one lane. Like here, I'm gonna like virtue signal to everybody how good of a person I am. I'm gonna be the person who all these people kind of like jump on my back because I have a voice. So I'm gonna virtue signal how good I am instead of just like actually just going out and voting. You gotta like spread the message. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be a messenger.
Yeah, but what if that's the things that
You're like a savior.
about?
Like it's like a savior complex. You gotta like save everybody.
What if that's the things that they're passionate about, right? Like, if they're passionate about a particular issue that's popular in the public space or the zeitgeist, then that's what they're into. It doesn't mean that they're being disingenuous.
And they should be able to do
that's
that.
what they're interested in.
Yeah, they should be able to do it. But they're not being. I mean, they're not always going to be disingenuous. But I'm always going to think it's corny, unless that's your whole thing. If your whole thing is politics and that's like your game, like literally what George does, I don't find him posting on Instagram corny about that. Like I don't find him posting about social issues because that's his whole spiel. That's what he's there for, is to do that. You know what I mean? He's not just like some famous guy who like, all right, now yo, let me get some more fans. Let me just like side with this one side, like what Megan Thee Stallion did, and on the other side, what Chef G, I think his name was Sleepy Hollow, and Chef G, like they're just trying to gain fans. It's a little corny.
Okay,
Maybe they are passionate, so they should be able to do what they want. You know, but I won't cancel them. I don't think they should be canceled for what they do.
Yeah. Well, people are multifaceted. I think it's disingenuous to say, oh, because you're an athlete, you only can do athletic stuff and games and use your voice in that sense. But because you don't normally, because I see you every Tuesday and Thursday dribbling, I can't see you having these political opinions.
Yeah, no, it's just like, I mean, okay, even when LeBron did it, right? Why is he not still doing it? Why are they not still posting about it? Like, why when the hype dies down, all of a sudden they go silent, and then now you don't hear about Black Lives Matter anymore. But Black lives still do matter, right?
John,
So
I agree with that point. I think people should be raising these alarm bells constantly because these issues are still problems. I don't think they're necessarily like hypocrites for not doing so. In like the context of American society, I think, like personally, I would consider them so. But like that's how we're like kind of socialized to conceive of the world. Like things come in like cycles, right? Like the news cycle is talking about this, so this is what I'm gonna talk about. Like these are the like that's the whole kind of theory behind manufacturing consent, is that like the media is such a problem because it holds the power to control conversation. Whatever people consistently see is what they're going to talk about, and if they're no longer consistently seeing all these issues regarding black people being treated unfairly by our systems, they're not going to talk about it as much. And that was the point I was getting at when I said the news doesn't cover it the same way. They didn't stop mattering, but the news stopped talking about it the same way. The news stopped covering it.
When it was good for their brand, they were fucking.
But the news was also covering it, dog.
They were like talking all their shit about politics, and now
the news was everyone was talking all their shit about politics. Like the whole world was talking their shit about politics because that's what was in the news.
Right.
Yeah, and now looking back on it, it was corny. Because first of all,
I see what you're saying, but I don't think the athletes deserve any like special resentment for it.
What?
Ooh, damn! He brought out a big word. I don't even know what that means.
I don't even know what he said.
I said I hear what you're saying, but I don't think the athletes deserve any special resentment. I think as a society in general, yeah, it's wrong that we do that, but I don't think the athletes are more at fault than like any other person.
No, because that girl posting about the black job shit, she's doing that because that's hot right now. That's
right.
Like a hot
You're right.
Issue.
You're right.
So her PR team is probably like, yo, post about this shit. Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of fans off of it.
I don't know about that.
It's genuine, and also
be that thing in the news and wants to make a comment.
Since when?
Right. It could also be that, John. John.
An Olympic athlete, a black job. I just don't know. That's kind of crazy. She posts that shit too.
She didn't actually mean it's a black job. She was trolling Trump, bro, because she thinks what he says was stupid.
Exactly. So she's like, look at me at my black job. She's not being like literally. She's not literally saying it, but she's trying to say like something. I don't know. It just comes off as corny to me because it doesn't seem like it's genuine.
No, but I mean, you don't know that, right? Like, that could just be.
I'm just saying how it comes off to me.
That's fair.
You could say that. I mean, that's how you feel, right?
Like she thinks she's like cool for saying it. Like, wow, I just made a statement. Wow, I'm like tough.
I don't know if she's saying. I'm not sure if she thinks she's tough. I think she's trolling Trump. I think that's what she's trying to do. Is like she's like, oh, I have a platform. People will see me on air, and I want to troll this guy because I think what he says is stupid. Why? Well, why not?
It's a dig. It's definitely a dig. So she's like, she definitely.
People dig at political figures all the time.
As
they should be able to.
As a TikTok people would say, she thinks that she thought she ate with that one, but she did not.
She probably did think she ate, and I guess it's a matter of opinion if you think she did or not.
Yeah,
but
it just comes off as corny because I know it's not genuine. I know she.
I don't know if we know that. I don't know if we know that.
She's probably very well off.
But like,
you can say that.
How? What does her being well off have to do with her thinking Trump's rhetoric is stupid?
Hasnabi does. Hasnabi sits in his multi-million-dollar mansion, is like, talking like he's fucking broke, bro.
But like she doesn't do that.
He's trying to appeal to an
yes,
audience.
yes, that's what he's doing. But like she's not doing the same thing in trolling Trump. She's not doing the same thing in trolling Trump. I don't think those are the same thing.
Doesn't mean she's immune from criticism. I mean,
I don't think she's immune. No one's saying she's perfect. I just don't think her criticism is very valid. I don't think there's much to be held accountable there for, bro. She didn't do anything but troll a former president, which is like completely a fine thing to do.
Yeah,
Like-
it's fine, but it's corny.
Okay, sure.
Because
Maybe you
because
could think that's
if,
corny,
if
but
on the other side it'd be corny too.
I don't
I mean,
think it
anybody
would.
anybody who shit talks Kamala, and they're like an athlete, and it's just like, oh, yo, you know what? This is good for my brand. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna post this now. They have.
I
a
think
PR
that
team, all
depends
the-
on your political leanings. Like, people who like Kamala will probably be upset about that, and people who like Trump are probably upset about that. About what?
I just think that the intent behind
Everything
it is when your PR team. They all have PR teams, especially when she's in the Olympics.
You feel like they're doing it for attention, to like
Yes.
virtue signal. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
attention. That's the perfect way. They're doing it for attention. Yes, that's like my point in one sentence. Yep. That's what's corny about it, is I feel like it's doing it for attention, because why is LeBron still not posting about how Black lives don't matter? And you can even make the argument that, oh, maybe there wasn't any big people who just passed away. There was just somebody who just got shot, right, from
Yeah.
a cop.
Yeah.
Shit
Like I
that.
said, it never stopped happening.
But
People
but
never
I-
stopped
right
protesting.
now, I-
But the
I-
news
I-
did stop covering it. And I think you're right. They should all still be talking about it, John. I think you're absolutely right. I think
One thing.
I think that's
respect
a
about
criticism
you,
of our society, bro. I think that's a criticism of our society, like, not just athletes
Yeah.
in particular.
One thing
And
I
I
respect
don't-
about you, honestly, bro, real quick. One thing I respect about you is that I've followed you for mad years now, and you've been consistently posting about politics when nobody else is talking about it. You've been consistent across the board. You don't just post it to get attention
When it's
and
convenient.
because it's good for your brand. I've seen you in the middle of when nobody was talking about shit. You put some random ass fucking like article of some shit I don't even know what they're talking about. I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, but you're consistent, so I can respect that. But I can't respect what they do because I know that their PR teams are pushing them to do that.
I hear
Like,
you.
all right, good for my brand. Kim Kardashian, same thing. I just pulled
John,
up on Instagram.
I'm not
Me too.
disagreeing with
It's
that
just
point
about
at all. I just want that to be clear. Like, I think there is a problem with people doing like these things for attention, and I think it happens across the board in society. I don't think it's fair to give athletes like more scrutiny for doing that, because they are also just like
Maybe
regular
not
people.
athletes. Maybe I'm talking about just celebrities in general. Maybe that's just more fair.
Celebrities,
Anybody,
yeah, I
anybody
feel
with a
like
platform and a voice.
I feel like
Maybe-
when we
maybe
like make it that
athletes do
broad,
that.
I can get behind it. I feel like if we make it that broad, I can get behind it. Like, people in the prominent light latching on to these issues as to seem like down with the cause of the people, but like only when it's like a hot button issue. I find that problematic.
Like if you're gonna do that, all right. Let's say you're Leonardo DiCaprio. Shut up and act. If you're gonna do that and you're LeBron, just shut up and dribble. I don't want to hear your shit. If you're just gonna do that for attention, I know it sounds fucked
Yeah,
up.
but-
And that was a big like pushing point of like racism. Shut up and dribble. But yeah. If you're gonna do it for attention, yep. Shut up and dribble. Shut
See-
up and act. Shut up and golf.
I think one thing that I want to add is, one, you're never gonna know whether or not it's genuine, so it's tough to
Yeah,
make
it's
that call.
hard. That's the
Two,
hardest thing, to discern
Dude.
intent. Because, like, just because somebody doesn't always post about something doesn't mean they don't actually think about it and like feel
Right.
the impact of it. Like, something could just like get to them one day and they say, "Okay, I can't like be quiet about this," and just post something, which is like, I think that's a very human way of being.
Two, I
But
feel
yes,
like
I think there's
the
a
other
problem
issue is,
generally of that.
So,
I think
so
the
the
other
thing,
issue is-
like I was saying, bro, you're consistent, bro, and like so you were the one posting about the Black Lives Matter shit back in 2020. I'm sure you had a lot of shit to say, but it's not like you just like everybody stopped saying shit. So you're like, all right, I'm just gonna follow the crowd and stop saying shit as well. Like you
Yeah,
just
okay.
kept going, but they don't.
But the
They
popular
don't.
zeitgeist
Where are
is
they
what
now?
the
Where are they now?
conversation
They
is.
just died. And
I hear you,
that's
John.
it.
It's frustrating. I hear you.
I just think it's
The other
corny.
thing I think you gotta
Cornball,
take
not
into
you, but
consideration is
they're a
that-
cornball.
I
Like
agree.
any athlete who's doing that, any celebrity who's doing that, Kim Kardashian was a big one. She was all about that shit, and then all of a sudden, oh, the fucking Gaza shit. Oh, she was all about that too.
Yeah.
Free Palestine. Okay, now that's died out. Oh no, it's funny. Haven't heard about that from her in almost 6 months to a year. That's
That's a
convenient.
valid criticism, and it is disappointing, and it's super virtue signally, and it just makes it seem like our values as a society only go as far as it's trendy, and like anything outside of that is a basically like we don't really have any genuine values. We just kind of are stuck on this surface level virtue signally presentation of values, but when it comes down to it, we don't walk the walk.
Exactly, and it's like, hey, for Kim Kardashian, shut up and get Botox. Like, just I don't want to hear it. We follow you for a certain reason, right? Unless you're gonna make that shit your whole spiel, and you're gonna be that guy, like a Colin Kaepernick. I mean, even you could argue him, but he made that his spiel for a long time. Of that, I like my whole thing is.
I mean, yeah, like that guy lost his job, like his
politics.
entire career because of that. I feel like he was being very genuine. He could have stopped, and like if you were his PR team, they were definitely telling him to stop, but he did not. Like. And see, like most people aren't gonna do that, bro. Most people are cowards. They're not gonna, and they just follow the trends. They're not gonna be like, oh yeah, let me take a principled stance on this thing and like put my livelihood at risk. No, and like to be like, you know, I'm not gonna blame them for that. Like everyone has their own decisions to make in life, and like they have kids and people to take care of and all that. But like, yeah, don't. Yeah, it's hard to say don't too, because like you need people to agree with you if you're gonna change things, and if they never do, then nothing will ever change. But more consistency would be preferred.
I like consistency. Like that's just how I am as a person. I like consistency.
One thing that I think you're ignoring is that the popular discussion points in society and in the media evolve over time, and I think to what Slice was saying, that like commenting on it in the moment doesn't make you a bad person. If the conversation evolves and you start talking about other things, like people have short attention spans, they're gonna comment on what's going on. But
at least what's being
it
covered.
doesn't necessarily.
No,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't.
Doesn't
Bro, it doesn't.
necessarily
I never
mean
said it
that
makes him
they're
a bad
fake.
person. I said it makes him corny. Like
Fair enough.
that's what they are, to make corny, bro. Doesn't make you a bad person, right? You're trying to support a good cause, whether it's if you some old lady's getting robbed, and you have somebody here, take my phone, and they film you saving that old lady from getting robbed. Although maybe it's for clout, you still saved an old lady from getting robbed, regardless on if it was for clout or not. You still did a good thing, but the reason of it is corny. You're still a cornball.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other thing is I feel like oftentimes celebrities also feel pressured to talk about specific things. Like a couple of weeks ago with the situation in Palestine and Israel, people were mad at Taylor Swift because she didn't give her opinion, to the point where CNN and Times, the New York Times were writing about it. Like her fans are pissed because they didn't say anything. So it's like you're almost damned if you do or damned if you don't. You know, like people were legitimately mad at her.
Better to say too little than too much.
Honestly, I think it's better to say too much. I think it's better to say too much, because you can always take something back, but
No, you can't.
sometimes it's too late.
That's not true. And you
Sometimes it's too late to say something.
You can't always take something back that you said. I mean, that's
Sure. You can always take something back. Fine, I will concede that point.
like I'll never look at LeBron as not somewhat of a cornball. He's my all-time favorite player, like in the NBA. Like, I think he's better than Jordan. Like, I have nothing but good things to say about him when it comes to basketball. But off the court, he's kind of a cornball. I'll never not think that because I saw what he did. We just had this conversation. I explained to you why I thought that. So if he had not said anything and then been consistently, now it's 3 years later, still not said anything, I could respect that. But the fact that he just disappeared off the face of the earth when it came to speaking about that, but he had a lot to say when everybody else had a lot to say, you know.
I think pointing out the hypocrisy there is fair. I don't think putting any special attention on like specifically athletes, but like prominent members of society, engaging in that way, yes, for sure. Like, but I do think there should be some leeway there because again, they are also just regular people and they shouldn't be like discouraged from sharing their opinion as anyone else would. But if it gets to the point where it's like, okay, whatever is the hot button issue is what you like talk about and it doesn't seem to go anywhere past the surface, then yeah, then that starts to feel disingenuous, and I think
Well, I mean,
that
the
becomes-
reason we even got into this talk about athletes is because of what Simone Biles said. I was never really saying like it's just an athlete thing.
No, it wasn't Simone Biles, right? It was the sprinter.
No, I got that wrong. I just looked it up. Simone Biles says she loves her quote unquote black job, and
Okay.
apparently got back at Donald Trump. So
Yeah, I
she posted
feel
that
like-
next.
I feel like, I mean, she can say that. Like, I don't.
You can.
Yeah.
She's a cornball though.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, she was posting about the BLM shit back then, and disappeared for 3 or 4 years. Even though
I think it's
that
also
problem
fair if
existed.
people don't want to like be in the prominent light. I think that's a lot of pressure to put on someone, and they want to step back from that. That's okay. Yeah.
I just like the consistency. That's what I'm all about. I think it's good to have consistency in life. Being a consistent person, not switching up, not doing like certain shit at certain times, certain shit at other times. I mean, I don't view those as good qualities. That's pretty much what most of my
I agree. I think
Most of my
consistent
arguments don't know
values
that
are
are
important.
yeah.
And
Like, how would you like if a friend was like, sometimes it's fucking real, other times it's really fucking terrible for you.
yeah,
Like nobody would like that shit. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
no,
Consistent-
obviously.
either you want them to show you that they're a piece of shit, and you know not to fuck with them, or you want them to be like a good person and they stay being cool like that. You know, like chill.
Yeah, I feel like it's a tough situation that athletes are in because they have so much attention. But I mean, yeah, bro.
Yeah,
if
definitely
you're
don't
gonna
always
talk
make
about it, if you're gonna talk about it, talk about it. If you're not gonna talk about it, don't talk about it. If you're gonna talk about it, sometimes fine. But like, I think there's a fair point to say. If it starts to, if we have reason to believe that
Like, I'll
it's
get my, like,
disingenuous,
daily dose
like
of
yeah,
I'll get
we can be
my
upset
like
about that.
daily. I'll get my daily dose of like what's going on in fucking Gaza or the fucking what's going on in the government from your stories. You're like my news feed for like political shit. And then yeah, I mean it is what it is. Like consistency, shit's tough. Like if you're like that, you're gonna be like that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So I know like when I click on your story, some shit like that, there's probably gonna be some kind of political post. I'm just like ready for it. Nothing. I think that's respectable. But yeah. So yo, Dirt, what do you think? I know we've been talking back and forth on this about what I think.
No, I kind of fall more so into the camp of slice. Like, I think it doesn't matter if you talk about a hot political issue once or if you talk about it every other day. I can agree with you that the consistency is important, but like sometimes one person just they find something online that really moves them and they feel like they have to talk about it. And if it's just that one time, it is what it is. As long as they're bringing attention to the things that they believe, I think that's fine. Consistency would be good, but if they're not consistent, it's not up to me to judge them for it. Like they have their opinions, they have their beliefs, and if they choose
But you're saying you don't judge them, but you don't have an opinion?
I mean, I don't because I'm not gonna go.
But it's yes or no?
LeBron James
Like, do you or do you not have an opinion?
on the celebrities posting or just in general?
Okay, so for example, there's a social media guy, and he only helps out people when it's on camera.
hmm
What do you think about that?
I hate that.
Yeah, I think
for
that's
one.
only gives away money when he's on camera. He's like, look at me. I'm gonna give this person $500. He still did a good thing, right? So at the end of the day, he's a good. He's doing a good thing. But
Yeah.
you know for a fact he only does that shit on camera.
Yeah, I mean, if you're poverty pimping, right? Like you're making it look like you're virtuous only when it's on camera. I'm probably not going to want to grab a beer with you, but you're still doing net positive.
So you
Like,
do have an opinion then, right?
yeah, I didn't say that I didn't, but like, if you're like Takashi 69, whenever he goes on camera and he like gives out money, it's like, all right, cool, dude. Like, you're doing this for the clout. You're not doing it for the right reasons. But then you might be able to say the same thing about Mr. Beast, who runs Beast Philanthropy, where he's giving out millions of dollars a year, but he's also doing it on camera. Like, to a certain point, sometimes those things are self-serving, but
But that's
self-serving
his whole
action.
spiel though. That's his whole spiel. Like he's consistent. He's always only giving it away on camera.
Who,
Even he's a little bit. I mean, he's not perfect either.
right. But I mean, like, you also don't see the stuff that they don't post, right? Like, if you see somebody who's only giving away money or helping people out on camera, you have no idea what they do on their weekends if they're going out and actually working at like a food like drive, or if they're helping out with the homeless. Like, you just don't have access to that information, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, no, but I mean, yeah, but the argument in the beginning was more on like posting, like posting and then not posting, and then posting when everybody else is, and then not posting.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it was more, yeah. I mean, we
I
kind
think
of
I can
went
agree
off
with-
tangent.
I think I can agree that it's a little disingenuous because you're only doing it for the clout. But like I can see what you're saying, and I can agree to some of your points where it does seem pretty scummy when you're only doing it because it's popular or it's going to serve you well. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I have no idea what Kim Kardashian feels about all these topics, how strongly she feels about specific ones and other ones, but
Yeah.
if at the end of the day they're doing net positive, then that's still a good thing. Like, even
Yeah.
Kim K, like, you can say that she stopped talking about Black Lives Matter, but she's helped people who are wrongfully imprisoned, like, get justice and be removed from their unjust imprisonment. Like, I don't know. I think like, people help the world in different ways. Same thing with LeBron. You can say that like he only posted about Black Lives Matter when it was convenient, but he also runs a school where he pays for kids to have scholarships. Like, I forget what the name of the school is in Ohio where he's from, but he runs like
It's
an
like
academy.
St. Mary's. I think he renamed it St. Mary's.
Yeah. So like,
Sure.
you just never know.
There you go.
There's the stuff that's popular that they're gonna post about, and then there's the stuff that they do on their own that may not receive as much attention. But it's not up to it's not always up to us to really, or rather I should say, we don't always have the full picture of what
Yeah.
their full beliefs are. So it's kind of hard to judge. If they're doing something
All right,
good, at
you
the
know
end of
what?
the day, it is what it is.
That actually leads me into another good point that we could probably talk about. Do you think that the issue is cops with this whole thing, or do you think the issue is that there are bad cops? There are some bad cops.
Is this the
I think
question
that
about the bad apple theory?
Do you think that there's bad contractors, there's bad teachers, there's
Yeah,
bad
there's also both.
officers, or do you
There's
think that
both.
cops are just pigs?
No, I don't think all of them are. There's definitely good police officers, but what I think is more
my
so, and I do think that there's a lot of bad apples, but what I think is more so is that there are systems in place for them to, for the bad ones to get away with things. Like, qualified immunity shouldn't be a thing where if this hasn't been done before in the very specific way, cops can get away with committing violent acts because it just so happened that they have qualified immunity. Like, I think it's inherently a system issue and a bad actors, and those bad actors are able to take advantage of that system.
George? Or Slice?
Yeah, I think the system allows for bad actors to get away with their behavior, and I think it also to an extent creates bad actors because people know that you can get away with that. Like, I think there's a portion of people who go into positions like that because they're power hungry and they have problematic personality traits, and those people are going to do bad shit. Then there's the people who might be like fine in a different context, but because this context allows them to get away with bad behavior, they're more likely to engage in the bad behavior because fuck it, I'm not going to get punished anyway.
Right. Yeah, and the system lets you get away with it.
There's a picture of cops stating that an overwhelming majority are pieces of shit and should be completely defunded and all that stuff. What do you guys think that there's an overwhelming majority of cops who are just assholes and terrible people?
I don't think there's any way to say that. I don't think there's any.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to do some kind of.
What you think.
That's my opinion. I think like one can't make a claim like that without like a very specific study being done, and like even then I don't know if I would trust it. But like I feel like framing the conversation in that way is just unproductive. Rather, I think we should be talking about like no. I think it literally doesn't solve anything to like frame it that way. It just doesn't solve anything. I think it's like we should think about how we can make the system allow bad behavior less, and how we can better screen people who apply for these jobs to make sure they're not fucking prone to violence.
Yeah, but that's a cop out because like our other
How's that
conversations,
a cop out, bro? How's that a cop out?
Because our other conversations about what defines life or not is very unproductive as well, because that doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything us talking about it. So that's like the same, like you're applying the same logic. You just don't want to say anything. So you're
no, John. Trust me, I'm
but
not.
it is,
No,
it
it's not that. No, it's not that I'm not trying to say anything. I think the way you framed it is unproductive. That's why I changed the framing.
The minority of cops that are bad, or you think it's a majority? It's like one or the other. There's no.
I don't know if it's.
You think?
I don't know. I feel like it's impossible to know, and I don't think that's a cop out. I think that's me admitting to my ignorance, because I don't think there's any weird way of knowing, and like, it's like. Yeah, I don't know.
Also, I mean,
what do you think?
The truth of the matter is like you only hear about the bad cops. There's millions of police officers who are going to have a full career that never do anything wrong. They don't plant evidence on people. They help their community. But you're not going to hear about that. You're going to hear about the ones that are the strip bags. And it's such a big industry. It's such a big like employment frame that. If you have, I don't even know how many cops there are, but there has to be over like 30 million police officers, or maybe not 30 million, but there has to be millions of police officers in the country. But the loudest ones you're going to hear about are the ones that commit atrocities. I'm going to pull it up right now, how many police there are in the country. And yeah, you're only going to hear about the bad ones.
You do hear about the good ones on TV though, because we do cop propaganda. That's why people like cops so much, because like so much of our media paints them as badass heroes.
So there's over 800,000 police officers that are full time, and then there's other ones that do volunteer and part time. So it's a little over 1 million of them. Even if you say that it's like 1% or 10% of them are not the best, you're going to hear about them more than you would hear about the good ones. So I think I agree with Slice on the framing not being the best way to think about it. I mean, in my opinion, I think maybe an overwhelming majority of police are probably good people that care about their community and want to help people. Maybe for some of them, it's also just a job that they can get because they couldn't get anything else.
All right. So let me ask you. Yeah. So let me ask you a question then. So I'm looking this up right now. I really don't have any opinion. Like I said with the other ones, doesn't really affect me. So, but it is like a really another dicey conversation that we could have. So I looked it up on the statistics from a couple websites. So in total, on average, around 1,000 people are killed by police in the United States every single year. So, but in 2023, it says that the number was particularly high, with 1,353 people killed by police. And this includes various causes such as shooting, tasers, physical restraints. Then I asked, I know how many of those people are white, how many those people are not white. And it says in 2023, 282 black people were killed by police in the United States. This number highlights the disproportionate impact on black Americans as the rate of fatal police shootings among black Americans is significantly higher than for other ethnicities.
I
Yeah,
think
they make up a smaller percentage.
Do you guys think that is that a do you guys think that's a I don't know the word for it. I want to say like relevant number. Like, do you think that's like a kind of like a an illegal immigrant or trans rights kind of topic?
No, because I think
Because 1,353 people.
yeah, but like black people only make up 13% of the population. So I think it's important to take into consideration what the rate of crimes that occur against them from government officials and compare that to their population and look at what that percentage is. Because if you just look at the statistics, the largest population in the United States are white Americans. So it stands to reason that majority of the killings are going to be towards them. But
That's
at
fair.
what percentage are
Fair.
they being targeted? If you have a small, like, if I give you 10 apples and I tell you out of these 10, one of them is poisonous, all right, you got a 9 in 10 chance that you're going to get a non-poisonous apple. Like, but if I give you 3 apples and I tell you one of them is poisonous, then you have a 2 in 3 chance of it not being a bad apple. But that number is what's important, and using that to form your opinion, I think is a matter of
No,
like,
that part is fair. So me playing devil's advocate again. So then I asked it, how many black Americans are in the United States? It says 48 million. So then that's my question. Is 282 out of 48 million, is that a relevant problem, do you guys think?
I think. Oh, I see what you're saying. I think yes, because like ideally, and like from a civil engineering perspective, I think as far as civil engineering can be thought of as like making laws to govern society, we ideally don't want cops killing like any citizens. Like that would be the ideal, right? And so yes, any number above 0 is a problem. And if we see data that suggests what might happen if all things were equal, if we see data that strays away from that, we should ask the question why. And if the data points to, which I think it makes total sense that there is bias, but I don't think I think the bias is over attributed to the police. I think like the reason so many or the reason there's like disproportionate murder of black people, killing of black people by cops, it's not simply because of systemic racism. It's not no actually it's not simply because there are bad actors in the police. It's that there are bad actors in the police and there is systemic racism. Like, if there were bad actors in the police and there wasn't systemic racism, that number would be way lower. But because there is systemic racism, you have things like, on average, there are going to be more black people in poverty than there are going to be, like, their counterparts. And so, because we know that poverty leads to crime, the crime rate in those communities are going to be higher, and so they're going to have more engagement with the police, which increases the chances they're going to come across those bad apples, or just people who are untrained and like don't know how to handle conflict well and freak out. But like, it's a thing that I think people point at the cops being racist too often because we like to person blame, but I think the larger issue is really just like the system is racist. It keeps black people downtrodden in general, and if we can get behind that, there will be less black people being killed by the cops. Like, you don't need to defund the police. You need to make sure there are better education. You need to make sure there's greater access to high quality education in black communities. You need to make sure there's childcare. You need to make sure there's youth recreation. There are jobs. Like, you take care of those things, well, crime is going to go down. Crime goes down, less interaction with police. It's not just that there are racist cops. Of course there are racist cops. We live in America. Like, there are racist people in America, and being a cop is just a regular job. So no shit they're going to be racist cops. There are racist male people. There are racist teachers. There are racist, like, anything you can think of.
That's very fair, and I kind of like where this conversation is going. I like kind of like putting a point out and seeing what you guys think. All right, so here's the next one, right? Do you think that all deaths are equal?
All deaths are equal. What do you mean?
A death is a death. Like, when somebody dies, it's a death is a death. Like, let's say you put like Johnny next to Johnny, like two Johnnies next to each other.
Two Johnnies. Two Johnnies.
Like, do you think that lives matter in general?
Yeah.
Like, should we punish like certain killings the same? Because that's how I'm reading this question.
No. So what I'm getting at is kind of like, do you think that the deaths that occur in gang violence is bad as much as the deaths that occur in police brutality?
Of course. Yeah, no. Okay, so that's one thing that I don't think is talked about enough, and like, conservatives bring up this point, and I feel like some of them are probably genuine, but I think most of them are just like, we don't like anything that has to do with black people being seen as equal or like deserving victims of systemic oppression. So any argument we can throw at that cause, we're gonna. But yeah, like, there should be Black Lives Matter rallies or not necessarily Black Lives Matter rallies, because that name was derived to combat specifically police violence against black people. But like, and that is not to say this doesn't happen, because people stand against gang violence all the time in their communities in various ways, but it's not given as much coverage. It's not made a huge issue in the same way, like, oh, we just lost this person's life due to gang violence. Like, some young black kid, even if he was in a gang or not, like, some young black kid got killed through gang violence. Like, there should be huge news. We should like the mayor should be talking about it. We should be thinking of ways we can engage with the kids so that they don't resort to that. But that's not a thing. That's not a thing, right? Which goes to show that people don't conceive of the issue to like with a same intensity. Like, they don't think it's as big as a deal. And I think that 100% should. Like I think every black person should be raising alarms that, like, oh yeah, there is less quality there's less quality education in some black communities. There are like fewer jobs. Like that should be something people are talking about all the time. But that's like not really a thing that happens.
So then, going back to the statistics, based on what this is telling me, it seems like they're both a problem, because it says gang violence is a significant issue affecting many communities. On average, about 5% of black homicides are attributed to gang violence. So 5% of black, basically, homicides. In 2021, more than 12,400 black Americans died from gun violence that was a result of gang-related incidents.
Yeah,
So-
like people should be
so we
talking
have-
about
okay,
that
so we
on a
have
large
two-
scale.
282, and then 12,400. I feel like they should be
I think
talked about
personally,
equally.
the
Right.
reason it's not talked about is because too often conservative, like bad faith actors use those statistics to paint black people as exceptionally violent. Like, oh, like look, they're like killing themselves. I mean, that's where the whole like
That's
black
fair.
on black crime like myth came
That's fair.
from, right? It's like, oh, like look, like black kids are dying to all this gang violence. Look, they're so violent. Like they deserve to be treated this way. This is why they get killed by cops because they're violent. But like, and we know that because all these black kids are being killed through gang violence and blah blah blah. But it's like, yeah, why are there gangs? Because there are no jobs. These kids are young men in America. They want to make money because that's what our country teaches young men, is to make money and get all the symbols of success. And if they can't get that where they live by getting a job, because that's slow, well, they're gonna do the other thing. Like, not all of them are, but some of them will. Like,
Wait,
people
so,
committed-
so what do you think is attributed what's the number one reason that's attributed to a young kid in an impoverished area getting into a gang? What's the number one reason?
Lack of resources for having other avenues to
I think
make
it's
an income. I think that's one.
Lack of
And then two,
resources,
just-
like lack of money, or lack of guidance? Which one do you think?
I think
both.
I think both. I think lack of resources can lead to lack of guidance, because it's like, yo, if my one job cannot support us, I'm gonna have to get multiple jobs, and if I have multiple jobs, I can't raise you because I won't be here because I have to be at work.
Yeah.
So do you think it's out of necessity
What do you mean?
For some
Get it.
people, yeah.
joining a gang, or do you think
Some
do you
people,
think
yes.
some people out there
Some
would like
like
to
kids,
see
it's
that?
like, yo, there's a heavy gang presence where you live, and if you don't join, you're probably gonna get fucked up either way. So you might as well join.
You
I
ever
mean,
watch?
like, also,
Yeah, go ahead.
oftentimes some of these gangs are viewed as like role models. They make money. They don't have a boss. Like, I mean, it's not a nice way of saying it, but if you like to sell fun,
They're like
you're in a
local
gang,
Andrew
you're an
Tates, bro.
entrepreneur.
They're local
Yeah.
Andrew Tates. Like, all these like young white boys are like looking up to Andrew Tate because he's online. Like, every gang member is an Andrew Tate for like any like misguided kid in the hood.
So why not like look up to like a father?
Because he's either working too much or
Yeah.
he was
Uh-huh.
also incarcerated. And the ones that do have their fathers present, that's usually the ones they look up to. But like, here comes another bad faith conservative talking point. It's like, yeah, the reason the black community is what it is because there's like infidelity, and like black men are like
That's weird.
like bad people, and so they don't raise their kids. Like again, it's always coming from this blame black people and paint them as like being exceptionally like immoral and like violent. Like that's usually where those talking points come down to. They don't look at what are the external factors that might increase the possibility of this situation occurring as compared to the control being like middle class white Americans.
So instead of even like painting I think that they do it wrong. I think instead of painting a picture of black Americans as like bad and negative, I want to ask you how do you fix it where it's like the black American father can be around? Like what do you do to fix that?
Well, you again, you like take care of a lot of the systemic
Get in the right direction.
issues, right? So you make it so that you can have a paying job in your community. Like, you can have a job that allows you to support a family. If these kids who will one day become men know that I can work, like it's not like the freaking 50s anymore or the 60s where it's like, yeah, I can like graduate high school, get a job at a factory, that'll be enough for me to support my wife and kids. Like, if that was the situation, that would be a different case. But like, I can get a job at like Amazon with a high school degree fairly simply, but like that's not gonna help me support wife and kids. So like, I'm not gonna settle down and like go raise a kid. And if I want to do that, I might have to make more money. Okay, well, what are my options to make more money? I can get another job, which takes mad time, or I can like maybe engage in some underground jobs that are more lucrative, and it's easy access to those things where I live. So that's an option. And like obviously, a lot of people aren't going to take that option, but some people are. Just like in any circumstance.
I'm trying to understand your point. So were you saying that inflation, because we're not back in the 60s, like inflation, you fix inflation, then it'll keep the black American father in the home?
I think you address job ability and like or access to jobs, and I think you also address wages. So like people get paid more and jobs are more present.
So raise wages and raise the minimum wage too.
Yeah, and then also make sure that you're not increasing the cost of living, because
Right.
you can raise wages, but if landlords are raising rent and
Right.
shrinkflation is still an issue.
Like
that raised wage isn't really helping.
Like, bro, if I can work like a minimum wage job and my girl can work a minimum wage job and we can like raise 4 kids like comfortably, you will see more families, bro. You will see more families. Trust me.
Yeah.
You will see more families.
So Derek, I want to hear your take on this. And George said his piece. I want to hear, like, what do you back all the way to the gun violence with gang-related activities versus the cops thing, and then also with the black American father.
I mean, I think everything that Slice said was right on the money. I think that one of the major issues is there's a lack of resources and opportunities in some of these areas that are ridden with more gang violence. What ends up happening is either even if you're a smart kid and you think you can make it to college and actually make a living for yourself, like if you're living in a household with a single mom and you guys are struggling to pay bills and you're seeing all these guys that are working the streets and making a living, working less hours than you, it seems like it's something that's enticing. You'll weigh out the cost of danger from being in one of these gangs to what benefits there are for you. Number one. Number two, a lot of times people don't realize, but like gangs are also kind of inherited by family. The amount of people that have an uncle or an older brother or their father was previously in a gang gives you a higher chance of that, which kind of just like goes to show that the role models that are there for you are the people who are leading that same lifestyle that you're leading or you're gonna go lead.
So are you kind of referring to like a cycle that happens?
Yeah. Like it's a combination of not having good resources and feeling like you're stuck, and all the people around you, if they live that same type of lifestyle, it's easy to kind of fall into play because you have somebody you view as a mentor in that area, and you look up to them.
So can I play devil's advocate here? So let me ask you a question. So let's say we do fix wages and we bring them up. Let's say that, okay, minimum wage is, what is it, like they're like $15 now?
No, I think
Not
that's
the federal.
Certain areas. Yeah, not
The federal's still like
Okay.
$7, which is crazy.
Okay, so even if you raise that shit to like $20-$30 an hour, you're never gonna
Yeah.
make as much money as if you were selling. So like the incentive will
Yeah,
always
but
be
like
there.
still,
Like,
but
but still, if I can meet my
make
basic
more money
needs,
doing that.
if I can meet my
Right.
basic needs, that's like that puts me in a whole different ballpark, right?
Yeah,
But
you don't have
that
to
a
be.
mindset, or is it that I want to be well off? Because I feel like the being well off is something that everybody wants.
Well, yes, of course,
Yeah.
but like, there's like again, we're not even in that conversation. It's like, yo, I'm not making enough to like live. Like being homeless is always like at my front door because like I might not be able to make the rent next month, and like I'm perpetually in that situation because my work doesn't pay enough for me to be able to do that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like, I think no matter how you slice it or dice it, there's always going to be industries that make more money than what you currently make, but not everyone goes into those things. Like, same way that, like, a software engineer is going to make more than the average nurse, but they choose to go into nursing, not because of just the disparity in cost, but it's what their interests are in. Like, if you have the opportunity so that you can make a livable wage off of the things that you're interested in, you're going to find more people will go down that path than people who choose a riskier path. Because let's say if you could make $200,000 a year, right? And I mean, it's not accurate. Most gangbangers don't make that much. But let's say you can make $200,000 a year being a gangbanger, but you can only do that for 5 or 6 years because maybe you'll get pew-pewed. But maybe you can make $70K a year working at a tech company. Like, most people are going to pick that second option. But if that option isn't there available to you, you're still going to try to make as much money as possible doing the more dangerous thing. Even if you don't hit the average or you don't hit the highest band for what's possible to be made doing something dangerous like gangbanging, it's still more accessible to you to make 30, 40K a year being a gangbanger because you don't have that opportunity to make 70 to 100K doing something that's legitimate.
I mean, shit, let's look at all the people who aren't gangbanging, which is the majority of them, and are still in poverty. Still, like, working poor. Like, I mean, that's just, imagine being in that situation in America where you have a full-time job, you get up every day to go to work, you clock in 40 hours a week, and you're still poor. That person is being fucked by the system, and you cannot for a second say they're not working hard enough, because working 40 hours a week should be enough in this country to be able to meet your basic needs. And there are so many people who find themselves in that situation where they're working 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, and still cannot meet their basic needs. And instead of talking about we should raise wages, we should like lower prices, people are like, get a second job, get a third job, like just become a fucking slave, like work until your body fucking falls apart, right? And who does that benefit? People in power, the person who's trying to get cheap labor. That's why they champion those kinds of remarks and that rhetoric, because it's like, oh yeah, like, please work for me more, please be a serf. Like,
so let me okay, so this is something I can more speak on, right? So we established that you guys think that the cause of all this shit, basically in a nutshell, at the end of the road, is inflation and how it's affecting all these different industries.
It's an aspect of it.
Cost of goods, because in reality, the inflation of how things cost more is the wages not keeping pace. So both of ththose, wages and inflation, seem like the two causes, right?
For sure.
I mean, also like institutional racism too, like keeping like redlining and not allowing black families to purchase houses in better school systems, not allowing for them to get loans at the same rate, so they can't like do improvements on their house to bring the cost up of their their neighborhood.
Evaluating their property less.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact that when I first got my loan, they made me take a course, and it was like basically they went over all of the different things you cannot discriminate against, or else you're breaking the law.
Okay, but that doesn't mean anything.
Age, race, sex, sexual orientation, you can't discriminate against those things. For a tenant, for buying a house, you can't discriminate. So, okay, so you could make the argument that they value.
They've already
property.
done that.
You can make the argument they value a residential property as lower than the other ones, but how residential real estate works is you value it based on comparables. So it's really like there, like the data is like there.
Yeah, but that comparable is still within a range. That comparable is still within a range, though, right? And if I always give you the lower end of the range, do they though?
You do the highest, yes, because that's what you're supposed to do, or else you're treating them differently, and it's an obvious discrimination.
Yeah, but it still happens. Just
Yeah,
because it's a
happens
obvious
all the time.
discrimination doesn't mean it doesn't still
So
happen.
then why is this not taken to court?
Because you need
I mean,
money to do that.
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Public attorney.
Good luck. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you said that it costs money. It literally doesn't cost money.
But like, it's time. It's. I don't think it's that simple, man. One, it's like incredibly difficult to prove that somebody was acting in a racist way. Like the threshold legally is like so difficult to reach. And so you would need like a bang up lawyer, and like a public attorney probably ain't gonna be your guy. Even if you have one, here you are in a situation where you have to devote a crazy amount of time, which we all know is a resource, to this effort that might lead to absolutely nothing.
Right.
And like, what if you find yourself in that situation? Most people are gonna just not pursue it and like maybe try and get like a different like auditor or like, and so these people
Here's the
engage
thing,
in
though.
this
Here's
way
the-
get away.
This is an easy way to tell. Okay, so like I said, consistency. If every appraiser, I've talked to appraisers. Every appraiser, their appraisals go on like a record book. Like you keep track of your appraisals. So all you have to do, as like somebody who's fighting an appraiser for discriminating against you, is you would literally just say, hey, how do they appraise other properties? If they appraise other properties at the highest, they always go with the highest, and this property is obviously the highest. It's not like the time's not worth it, because if you're fighting over the difference between like let's say that 180,000 versus 280,000 or 260,000, you're fighting over $80,000. So you could say that the time's not worth it. That's more of a subjective thing, but the time is worth it when there's $80,000 at
Sure.
that's
Sure.
that's like a common issue.
Sure. That still doesn't take away that this stuff happens. And
Right. I'm just saying, why would you
whether or
like
not
that to better yourself and your family?
people have their reasons. It's not to me. It's not for me to say why. I think they just feel discouraged in doing so because one, the justice system isn't too kind to black people in this country historically. But the point is, it shouldn't happen to begin with. Like, right? It shouldn't be happening. Like, us having laws on the books obviously doesn't do enough to discourage people from doing that, because we still have data that says, yeah, this is happening. The cost of homes for black people, even in situations where it should be the same, that's not how it's shaping out.
Right. Yeah, I think if you're talking about in a perfect world, then what you're saying makes sense, but that's not how the country operates, and not everybody has the time or the resources or even knows that they're being screwed over. There's a lot of Americans who probably think that they are getting a fair appraisal on their property, but in reality, it's not.
Yeah, I mean that's the point of appraisal, is you're supposed to take the highest one. That's like common knowledge among in the real estate community. So maybe you think educating on that sense would somewhat fix the issue, because you can fight it more. So then therefore it becomes a more apparent problem, because if you have more families taking appraisers to court, then all of a sudden you get media attention, and then
Right.
boom, there you
That's
go.
why like education is is like one thing
education,
that like combats systemic racism. If people are aware of their rights, if people are emboldened to pursue legal action, like these things will happen less. And like that's what should happen. That's not the situation we're in, because the elected leaders could give a fuck about these things.
Yeah, and public attorneys are not like ever the best. Like they're always overworked, have multiple cases, so they're not really focusing on just you. So like,
yeah, and to
even
sue
if
an
you have
appraiser
access to
is gonna be like a lot of work. Like you need like a dedicated person, if not even a team, So it's like, oh yeah, this person who has like 7 cases, I'm one of them, and this appraisal company that has like 7 lawyers, they're like, I'm gonna beat them with this one person that's appointed to me. Like, no, it's not happening, chief. Like, it's not happening.
Right.
But let me ask, what is the definition of redlining?
So it was a practice from back in the days in the 40s and 50s when banks and government loans would draw up literal lines where they would say, okay, black people can own property in this side of this line, white people can own it on this side of the line, and the properties that were for black people would often be more run down, harder to get a loan for because that area wasn't like if you're getting a house in that area, they're going to make it harder for you. And even if you're wealthy and you want to buy a house in a white neighborhood, they would be like, oh, sorry, you're not going to be approved for this loan. Oh, sorry, you need a higher down payment, and they just make it as difficult as possible. So then they came up with these laws to stop people from housing discrimination, which is where the laws that you were bringing up came from.
So, okay, so if it makes it harder to get a loan, bro, you know that getting a loan is mathematical, right? There's no subjective about getting a loan. They look at your credit, they look at your income, and they look at they take those two things. So if you qualify income wise, there's a formula so that's what I'm literally just trying to figure out where.
That's what it is now. Back in the day, they would make it as difficult for black people to be approved for those loans as possible. Like, for somebody who had like a 700 credit score, they would be able to get approved for a larger loan than a black person who might have had like a 780 or a 750. Even though their credit is objectively higher, they would be required to either put down a larger down payment or they wouldn't receive as much in the loan process because of their skin and because of where they're looking for houses. They would make it extremely difficult if you wanted to go to a...
It was like, yeah, that was fucked. Like, definitely. I just looked it up. It said like 1940 something. It was like outlawed or some shit like that. But yeah, like I mean, literally today, let's say you make like 30,000. Your lender is gonna look at your income and be like, hey, you qualify for $200,000 worth of house or some shit like that. Based on this formula, he's gonna show you the formula, and then you can look up what the formula is. You can do your own calculations too, and then from there, you can like. There's different packages. So if you're like a first-time home buyer, you only put 3.5% down. So 3.5% of $200,000 is $7K for a house. You know what I mean? So, my question is, based on that, how does redlining exist still? If it's all
it doesn't exist as much anymore. But what it did is it set up practices that you still feel the effects of today, like. The areas that had more black, so let's say the black people who were able to purchase homes or rent homes in those areas where they would only loan or rent to black people, those areas didn't receive as much economic development as those white neighborhoods. And in comparison, now you have places like the hood or ghettos that they've been that way for decades because of these practices that occurred back in the 50s and the 60s. But white neighborhoods have been able to prosper. They're because of job opportunities that are also there, they're able to reinvest into their homes and are able to get higher equity lines of credit, get more loans, get another house, become landlords, and then their property values go up, which then helps their school because the school funding usually comes from property values. But those systems that were in play in the 40s, 50s, and 60s are the reason why we have black neighborhoods nowadays and white suburbs. And oftentimes, the whole reason why suburbs were created was because as people moved closer to the cities, the redlining would occur, and then outside of the cities, if you could afford a car and a house, you could purchase a home in a suburb where you as a white, as a black person, wouldn't be able to get approved for those loans, or you grew up in one of these shittier neighborhoods, and then now your opportunities are a lot less, which makes it harder for you to get out of that poverty and get to somewhere where those suburbs are better. Because you're like let's say you were born in the 70s and you were born in the south side of Chicago. Even if your parents owned a home, your education system wasn't as good So the opportunities for you to have a good paying job once you graduate isn't going to be as high as little Timmy who lives in the suburbs of Chicago, and their property value is higher so that their school has more resources to put in towards tutoring, SAT prep, after school activities. But if you were born in the 70s living in the hood and your parents were born in the 40s and the only place they could afford was these crappier neighborhoods, it's already going to set you up for failure compared to little Timmy who's living in the suburbs where he has way more resources and opportunities.
Yeah, no, I'll speak on this before I go. I'm reading here. I like the statistics. It says that 44% of Black Americans own their house versus I think it was 72% of white Americans own their house, which is seems to me like a pretty big problem. That
There's a
such
difference.
disproportionate amount of Black Americans that own their house compared to white, and that's not even accounting for that there's less Black Americans because it's a percentage of both. So it doesn't even account for that. Somebody could try to make that argument. I mean, I think that like everything that happened for the past 200 years definitely set, I feel like, Black Americans back a bit. Like you can't lie if you try to say that it didn't, then you're just lying.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and it's compounded too.
That's what you were saying. All right, so my last question before I go. So set it back, right? So okay, so we established wages going up would help out. But wages would go up for everybody. So
That's
wouldn't
fine.
everybody wouldn't everything stay like the people? Okay, let's say that
Not
white
if you
Americans
control.
own-
Not if you control for the cost of things, because like it doesn't matter if the wages go up for everyone. If if I'm working poor and my wages go up such that I can now afford to buy a home, I don't give a fuck if that person is also making more money. I can buy a home. I couldn't do that before. Why do I care?
Wait, say that again.
I said it wouldn't matter if everyone's wages goes up if you control for the cost of things. If the government implemented things like rent control or some control on like pricing so that like the cost of living doesn't skyrocket as wages increase.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the only way around it. Because if everyone makes more money,
wait,
then everyone's going to...
I was gonna say some weird shit. And it stopped. I was gonna say, so is it about starting a race war? I'm just playing. But no, I mean, like, so it's okay. So you
John wants to start a race war so bad.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. You increase wages and then cost of living goes down, but that doesn't change the proportions of who owns homes and to what Dur was saying
That's such a change.
has like more equity in their house. Like that'll stay the same because everybody's wages will go up. So in reality, the only thing that'll be fucking cheaper is like groceries. Like it'll be easier for Black Americans to buy groceries.
Right, but if I'm making more money, I can easily save up to a house if the prices of houses don't go up.
Yeah, but so can white Americans.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
So it's not like it's not at all things being like it'll just go up everything the same at the same rate, so nothing will change. Just your groceries will be cheaper. And your gas
No,
will be
but
cheaper.
you would be able to get a house easier. So like
You're
naturally,
saying cost of goods. You're saying cost of goods.
no, I'm saying like just the cost of things in general, like the cost of living, which refers to the cost of things in society in general.
So like housing too.
Housing too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but
Certainly
I'm just
housing.
trying to say that just means that if Black Americans are making more, that just means that white Americans have even more to like outbid them. Like you see, you get what I'm saying. You get my point.
I hear you. Yeah. Like, well,
let's say that Johnny and Billy's Black, Johnny's white. Johnny bids on a house at 200,000. Billy bids on a house at 200,000. Now there's a bidding war, but Johnny makes way more money, the white guy, and he can put in 250. So it'll just be proportionately going up. Like if the wages went up, he'd just make more, and and you'd be able to outbid.
I think yes, but I think like the way wages would go up, it wouldn't be like you wouldn't just blanketly increase wages. You would increase wages for like lower paying jobs at a higher percentage than you would for higher paying jobs. So like if you already make 100K a year, your wages won't go up a ton. It might go up like 2%, but like if you make like 30K a year, your wages might go up 50%. Which,
So how do you justify just like targeting one, like favoring one specific
because those
demographic, like people like low income, like,
well,
like how are you going to present that to a country?
the demographic you would be targeting would be low income people, and I think the way you can spin that to a country is to say, hey, the price of things have gone up a ton, and if you're making above this much money, that's not a huge difference for you. But if you're making below this, it's a monumental difference, and that's what justifies that everyone doesn't get their wages increased by 50%, because they can meet their basic needs, but the ones who are way below cannot.
Yeah, but so okay, the ones that are way below, that kind of sounds like we're talking poverty, right? Way below.
Right. Yeah.
Like, all right, so but if you're bringing poverty, like people who are in poverty, up a little bit, that still doesn't change the gap of, like if you're like poverty, you won't qualify for much house being in poverty, bro.
Right. Well, if you raise people out of poverty by increasing the wages and keeping the cost of living down, then you raise people out of poverty.
Is it
right?
is it really? I'm talking about more of, okay, so I get it for preventing gang violence by doing all of that stuff. That makes more sense to me. You know, if somebody's not forced to do it, then obviously there's people who like this fucking street life. There's always going to be people who just like are just into that. Even like in the mafia, like there's people who just like being in the fucking mafia, right? But there's always been people who don't want to do it, right? So I feel like that would solve some of the issue there. But for housing, I don't know, bro. If you're what's poverty in America right now? Let's see. Poverty line.
It's like less than 30,000. Like if you're making between 20 and 30K a year.
14,580.
That's
Wow,
low.
so-
bro. Yeah,
That's
crazy.
literally, bro. You're a renter. If you're even like near that range, you're a renter, bro. You're not like a buyer. Like, I hate to say it, but your income just won't qualify. The banks won't take you serious.
Well,
regardless
yeah,
on the color of your skin, because you're a liability because you don't make enough. They don't think you'll make enough to be able to make your payments.
Right.
So
well,
even raising the unless you're like raising the fucking wage by like 100%, bro, like you're literally doubling that shit. Which
If
is
that what it
where's
takes.
that money gonna come from? Yeah, but where's that money gonna come from? That's the thing, though. If you're doubling the wages of lower class Americans, that's a lot of fucking money that has to go into.
well, the Fed just prints money, so they can print the money.
that'll
like,
just make inflation worse. Though. That was the problem during COVID,
here's
man.
the thing about inflation, right? It doesn't matter if the prices stay the same. It literally doesn't matter if the prices stay the same. It literally does not matter. Like people act like inflation is this like natural thing that happens as like it simply cannot like it's out of our control. It's really not. Like we decide the prices of things. There is no like other entity that's the economy that operates like independent of human action. Like fuck no, bro. Like it's literally decisions by institutional actors. If you increase the minimum wage and you increase people's salaries proportionally from the bottom up, and you create price control, at least for like a designated period of time, like maybe like 10 years, what happens is people at the lower rungs of the economic ladder, as they gain capita and the cost of living doesn't go up, they can acquire some property and assets, which levels the playing field a bit.
So,
And
so let me ask you,
yeah.
what's the incentive? Because people are going to be like the people who are middle class and up are going to be like, what the fuck, like this? What's the
Well, like
incentive?
their
for-
like money would go up too. Everyone's income would go up, but it would be proportionate.
Right. I'm just saying.
That's how you justify it. Like everyone wins, but not everyone is gonna win the same.
Unless you double the triple poverty, and even if you double it, let's say that you make that shit $28,000, bro, you're still literally not even like close to where. I mean, you might be able to.
You
put in,
can
like, an
also
offer
like buffer some policies like this by creating affordable housing where it's like you don't qualify
You're
for
really
this
just, like,
housing
giving,
if
you're like,
you're
giving people a lot of money. Like that's a lot of money that you're giving people. If you might have to triple, you might have to triple it to really even the playing field. You
But
might
you
make
can
a
also-
little tiny minute dent, but
you can
you're at
give people
14,000 is-
more money and then you can make affordable housing more robust. There are tons of things you can do all across the spectrum of the systems in place.
Create low income loans for people who don't qualify for higher paid ones. They just will receive a smaller share, and it would force them to have a different outlook on real estate, but it still gets them into the game. Like if you're
Right.
making like 25K, and there's programs like government assistance programs that'll help with you being approved for a loan, or hook you up with a down payment, or even require you to have less of a down payment for a smaller house. That'll still at least get you into the door. And once you have that, like, then you start building equity. You can start focusing more on building good credit. That equity, let's say even if you buy like a crappy house for $100,000 or $120,000, but you receive a government-assisted loan, and the banks could maybe even receive a tax benefit for giving out those type of loans. And then if you've been really good off of your payments and you paid off like 60, 70K of that house, then you can use that for a home equity line of credit, and then use that for your next down payment. Now you have two properties. Even if both properties are at the value of $100,000 each, that still gives you more leeway. Now you have another income through renting out that $100,000
Yeah.
second home that you purchased.
the only problem with that is that if you have incentives, like there's multiple incentives out there where they provide you with a down payment. That would be your second line, right? So they look
Yeah.
at your housing. Like for example, there's this loan out there called CHAFA. It's supposed to help out first time home buyers. They give you down payment assistance. They help you pay like they give you like fucking like they can give you like anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 of down payment assistance, right? And you put a 3.5% down payment. They view that down payment assistance as a second line, right? And then they also have a time to own, where they give you money more towards your loan, so they give you equity in the property as well, and you get paid back every certain amount of time. So there are programs out there that exist like that. The problem with taking the equity out of those is they look at that as a second and a third line, right? So you have your first line, which is your primary, and your second line, then your third line. By the time you get to your fourth line, you're gonna be fucked with interest rates. Like there's no way, if you're getting all this government assistance, this is how it works kind of across the board. If you're getting all this government assistance, they view that
Lower the interest rates for
as
low income people. Lower the interest rates. Like you can,
That's
like the
not-
Fed
that's
can make
not
that a
fair to
law.
home buyers, though. You can't because you can't just.
How
lower
is
the
that
interest
not
rate for
fair?
one person.
How is that not
Because-
fair?
No, because then you don't. That changes a lot of fucking numbers about a house, bro. So that means that if you have somebody who wants to be an investor and they make poverty, that's gonna, first of all, if somebody reports, because if you're self-employed, you can report really however much you want to spend. So let's say you have somebody who has like makes like $300,000 a year. If they go ahead and they spend $295,000 on their business or their real estate properties, for example, if they, remember I was telling you guys before, if you qualify as a real estate professional, you have over 750 hours a year, you write off 80% of all your repairs and a lot of your fucking down payment and your interest, shit like that. They can report that they are in poverty. So if you start lowering the interest rates for people who report poverty, that's
Yeah,
gonna
we'll still
create
have to take advantage of it.
that's gonna fuck the system up even
Okay,
more, bro. That's
okay, then we figure out another way to get around that. The point is, if we can have all these loopholes for rich people to like dodge taxes, we can create loopholes such that poor people can get into the game and the wealth disparity isn't as big as it is. That's like not out of our purview as a
That's gonna be a tough
societies,
one.
but we never try. Why is it going to be so tough? Because
I
like
don't
people
know.
are gonna like try to
Yeah.
subvert the system.
Yeah, because I mean, technically, I could pay zero taxes. I pay taxes because I don't report all my expenses because I want to be able to qualify for more mortgage. So, like, let's say let's say I make like 20,000, right? Like I could report zero, right? So therefore, I wouldn't technically pay any taxes, but I want to keep the income somewhat high so that when you go to a lender, they say you're qualified for more. So I just feel like it's going to be really tough to I mean, you mentioned interest rates, you mentioned giving people government like assistance, which exists. Like there's multiple different programs, but then you have a second and third line. So it's kind of like, how do you treat people equally with also giving them some kind of leeway?
We don't need to treat people equally. We already don't treat people like, people need to cut that shit out. Like, oh yeah, it has to be fair. Nothing about our society is fair, dog. Like, what the fuck are people talking about?
No,
What kind of
because
myth? What kind of myth are
what
they
you said,
falling into, bro?
That's an unequal rule, is lowering the interest rates for certain people, and then that's gonna. I mean, the rich are gonna love that shit. They will love you.
Rich people get taxed more than poor people. That's not equal.
No,
But-
they don't. Rich people get taxed less, bro, because the ones who are smart, which
There's
most
an
of them, they-
right,
they
but
report lower.
like the tax code takes away more money from you. In general, the more money you make, that's not equal. Our systems are not always equal, and we have very justifiable reasons for those. People need to let go of this idea that like, oh, if you help poor people, then like that's not fair to anyone else. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, a bunch of our policies are already not 100% equal, and we have justified reasons for that, because we know that everyone's circumstances doesn't require equal treatment, because it wouldn't make sense. Like, oh, like, here you go, Elon Musk, I'll give you 10K in a loan, and just because I'm giving everyone else 10K in the loan, Elon Musk doesn't need fucking 10K in a loan. I don't give a fuck if it's not equal for Elon Musk, bro. Like, he doesn't give a damn. He's also dodging taxes like crazy, and he has a ton of assets and wealth. He doesn't need 10K in a loan. I don't care if it's not equal. We can create. That's why we have tiers for things.
Yeah, but anyways, I gotta go though. That's why I'm saying, if we can get on earlier, I can definitely be on for longer. Like earlier than 10 o'clock. I don't know how you guys' schedules are, but like fucking like 8:30
Yeah, that works for me.
would be tough.
I mean, if you guys want to do like 8
Yeah,
o'clock
had a
your
long
time,
Huh?
if you guys want to do 8 o'clock your time, that always works for me.
Yeah, that could work for me.
10 o'clock is like tough, because then we like to have like long ass conversations, and I definitely want to like finish this shit, but I gotta go. So yeah, tomorrow definitely earlier. But yeah, I posted that shit. So now we're gonna start. I mean, I don't know what time it is in the Philippines, but people are gonna start hitting us up, and I think maybe in the next day or two we'll have an editor.
There you have it.
All right, dude, sounds good. Yeah, let me know whenever you guys are free, and then I can also come with some pre-planned topics, and you can have some good structure. I mean, it's always good to just chop it up too. I think we do a good job at chopping it up. But yeah, just let me know whenever you guys are free ahead of time, and we can all do a little bit of research. If we all come with like one topic that we're interested in to talk about, I think that works out.
Sounds good,
Down with
fellas.
All right, boys. Catch you all tomorrow. All right?
GG's.
All right, Joe.
I'm gonna finish this mission and call it.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and make myself some dinner. It's mad late for me. It's like midnight. I haven't eaten dinner yet.
That's tough.
Yeah. All right, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
Word, peace, y'all.
All right. See ya. Oh, I'll see you in like 2 days, 3 days.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I'll be back on Thursday.
But
All right, broski.
peace.
Peace.
Tech pack inbound. Calling down a sentry. Got equipment. Tagging map. Southwest, 200 meters. Heavy, north.
Well, TikTok, you saw it here first. We had a good time.
Heavy, southwest, close.
Covered a bunch of topics. Covered a wide range of things. We got a new channel coming up. Hopefully, we can hire somebody for that channel. I can hire someone for my channel. Get some more consistent content flowing. Just do the thing, man. Build a family.
Tagging location. I'm on it. Affirmative. Air sample collected. Affirmative. ETA T-minus 1 minute, 30 seconds. Calling down fortification. Never mind. Affirmative. Sorry. Requesting orbital strike. Requesting orbital. Requesting fortification. ETA T-minus 1 minute.
Checked. They got me, chat.
Request approved. Deploying reinforcements. ETA T-minus 30 seconds. Holding in orbital strike. ETA T-minus 20 seconds. Requesting sentry. ETA T-minus 10 seconds. Clear landing zone. Pelican 1 approaching pickup. Pelican 1 landing sequence initiated. Watch where you're standing. Pelican 1 preparing to depart. Shuttle launch in 20 seconds. Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent. Today you've carved another foot in a long climb to liberty.
Alright, chat. That's all she wrote for today. It's our total following. Let's see. 22 plus 44 plus 9 plus 25 plus 2. 102. 102. We'll take it, dog. We'll take it. To the moon, baby. We're gonna keep climbing, chat.
You secured a lot of samples.
Are there any new stratagems? I like the minefield. I feel like you can be fairly strategic with the minefield. So incendiary mines are interesting. Some burn damage. I've never seen anyone with the ballistic shield. I should get this. Yeah, why not? I'm not buying anything else. Alright, chat, we're gonna call it there. Let's see if I can show my guy's face. Maybe if I do this. Yeah, we're gonna call it there, chat. It's been a good one. We had some good talks. We made some headway in terms of building the structure for creating content, and feel good about it. Feel good about it. Yeah. I'm gonna call it there, y'all. GG's. Y'all be good. Peace out YouTube. Peace out TikTok. Peace out Twitch. Peace out Kick. I think that about covers the platforms we're on: YouTube, Kick, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram.